All right. I've got.
One. And we are live from Ethete at the 2022 Cross Country State Championships. And we are off to the races, literally and figuratively, with the 4A girls on their way out to the field. That's a big group. This is Shawn here with Cody Beers, who has done this before. This is my first time, and it is a beautiful sight out here. A little cold, but it's going to get a little warmer throughout the day. Cody, how you doing?
Hey, great. It's a fantastic day. We got on the air, and hey, thanks for tuning in to listen to the 4A girls race right off the bat, and they are making their way past the teepee and heading toward the first hill in this course. It's a figure 8 course, which will start here in the middle, and it will go south past Wyoming Indian High School, the campus, and then it will curve back and it will head down toward Ethete, where the runners will make a large loop. And we'll catch them here as they make the first loop and head up toward the teepee. But 4A girls underway. They've had the flag song, all the opening ceremonies, and now all we have to do is race. It's 6 races for cross-country gold here in Ethete at the Wyoming Indian High School, and they're making their way up the hill past the first teepee. That's where we'll start losing the racers, but we'll get them when they come back.
Yeah, we've got a great look at the finish line right here to our left, and when I was here for the Chief Nation Invitationals earlier this year, it was pretty awesome just to see how quickly all these runners can make it through this track, because I did a little walk around, and I don't think I could finish this in 15 minutes or 20 minutes like they can. I'll tell you that much.
We'll have the finish. You know, a lot of things happened last year to make this a venue for cross-country, Shawn. Keith Bauder and his staff here at Wyoming Indian High School did an outstanding job, and they turned this old hay meadow, place where you used to take your cows, into a beautiful cross-country facility. And one of the things they had to do, and they had help from Fremont County, they had to put a big pipe down here in the canal, and we were able to get Fremont County to donate that pipe. And then the irrigation folks came and put the pipe in. This year they have cut some of the Russian olives along the course, so we may be able to see the runners a little bit better today. But we'll have the starts and we'll have the finishes here at the 4A, 3A, and 2A State Cross Country Championships, Wyoming Indian High School. We had a wind storm that went through about 45 minutes ago, and I was thinking, man, it's going to be ugly, but the wind has stopped, and
the sun's coming out too.
The sun is coming out. It's going to be beautiful today for this state cross country meet.
Yeah, and it's not just the wind that I was going to be worried about. It was a little cold when I was out here earlier this year. Like I said, in early September, the Chief Nation Invitationals, it was sunny, it was hot, there was not a cloud in the sky, and it is quite different. It's pretty cloudy, but so far that cold hasn't truly come with the clouds. There's quite a few horses, quite a few dogs out here. If you're around Ethete, even if you don't have kids running, this is a perfect venue to spend some of your Saturday. We got concessions out front, we got snow cones, we got vendors, we got all sorts of
stew and
things.
fry bread. It's on the menu. So, hey, the 4A girls team favorites today, according to Wild Preps, Cheyenne Central and Natura County. The favorites individually include Sydney Morrell of Cheyenne Central, Madison Antonio of Jackson. Other contenders include Addison 4A of Laramie. Dark horse, Contenders in this meet, and I just lost my connection, but are Allie Wheeler of Natrona County and Avery Perry. So those are some of your contenders. Now the runners are up on the south half of the course. You'll see them come back into the picture here in a few minutes, and then they'll make their way down the hill. They'll run right past this big crowd in front of us, and then they'll head down on the north half of the course.
And for those of you joining the stream, we're going to do our best to get some of the winners up here and talk to them after their big win. Maybe get some coaches up here. I have a good long-standing history, as well as Cody does, with some of the coaches out here, especially from Fremont County, after covering them for so long. And hopefully, here shortly, we can get some more people up here. We can talk to you about it. It seems like it's going to be a long day, but you know it's going to fly by with the amount of stuff that we have on the docket for today.
Yeah, 6 races, and it's a fast course, and so they'll finish the 4A girls, and then they'll head toward the 3A girls, and the Cody Phillies looking to repeat as state champions. And I already had calls in from Tony Holt, the activities director up in Cody, and they'll be watching in Cody. They're going to get the information out. There's a lot of activities besides state cross country happening, and so a lot of people take advantage of this stream with a chance to watch these cross country runners. And it's cool at state cross country because they allow spectators to wander out on the course and cheer on the runners. Just a good time. So
yeah, this is a lot of fun. And you know, we have the camera pointed out at the far teepee out there, but I can count probably about 400 people just in front of us, let alone the runners behind us, totaling probably upwards of about 500. I mean, there's kids from every single school here, all across Wyoming, obviously, and there's going to be quite a few names that we might see today that we'll hear for a couple years coming.
And 4A girls, the dark horse runners that I'd started to talk about include Allie Wheeler of Natrona County and Avery Perriton of Cheyenne Central. The favorites individually expected Sydney Morell of Cheyenne Central, Madison Antonio of Jackson. Team favorites in this race, Cheyenne Central and Natrona County.
Yeah, it's just a fun, and you know what, the sun's really coming out. I should have brought my sunglasses like you, Cody.
Yeah, these are the only glasses I own, so they get dark no matter what. But there's probably a couple thousand people out here today wandering around. The parking lots are full. Of course, a lot of concessions and things like that, and a good day is, man, it's really came off nice. And we're lucky because tomorrow is not supposed to be like this. We're supposed to maybe get some of the first snow of the fall tomorrow. So good stuff. Glad to be here today at the Cross Country Championships, and we appreciate the invitation from the Wyoming High School Activities Association, also Keith Bauder and everybody here doing a great job at Wyoming Indian High School. It literally takes a village to put this thing on.
Yes, it does. You can see down at the just at the finish line, there's a group of workers that are going to be handing out water and snacks to the runners, and then you got the people with the porta potties out there that had to be outdone, and then you got like we said, the vendors, the concessions. There's I wouldn't even say a village. It takes an army to put this together.
They've got, at least to my count, 4 teepees put up. And, we've got guys on horses out here. We've got Mr. Brown, who's the starter on the white horse from last year, wearing a similar bit of regalia that he did last year. And it's just fun and games. And this course allows friends and family to get an up-close and personal look at state cross country during these races.
Yeah, and not just friends and family, but just fans. I've met a few runners from last year before that may have graduated and are sticking around, or they're just here for the weekend. But there is a lot of people out here that are just here to watch some people run, and it's awesome just how much everyone comes together for a big event like this. And if we could turn our camera around, I mean, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have about 12 tents out here.
We will do that here as soon as the runners pass. They should be coming into view here pretty quick as people starting to line up over by that far teepee on the hill. for the runners. They'll come down past the teepee. They'll take a quick left, and then they'll run right past all the people lined up here. So it'll be fun, and we'll be able to let people know who. We do have the first runners coming in to view, I believe, up here on the right.
Oh, yeah, I see him.
So we'll get ready here at the teepee, and then we'll follow them down the pathway, and you should get your first view of the leaders in this 4A girls race.
And I just saw Mr. Bauder. I was going to see if he wanted to come up here. There he is down there. He's got my favorite jacket. I would love to have Mr. Bauder's jacket down there. That's one of the coolest things about Wyoming Indian. They got some of the coolest color palettes of any team. There they are. I see them. We're also very lucky to have some music with us. Otherwise, this might be even longer of a day, but we got some great music so far.
Here's our first runners coming down the straight stretch, getting ready to turn right on the course, and then a bunch of about 5 runners. Looks like the leader wearing a dark uniform. Actually, the leader looks like she may be from Jackson, wearing that orange color.
That's what I was thinking.
And then another runner right behind her.
There's quite a few orange teams out here. We got Powell, we got Jackson. Could be very interesting to see who comes out on top of this very first race.
Like I say, the runner's coming off the hill, and then they'll make a right-hand turn and go on to the north half of the course, which basically is a big path around a huge hay meadow that goes nearly all the way into the community of Ethete, where then they will turn and head back toward the finish line.
All right, at the 2-mile mark, we have our first runner, which is Central.
Got a Cheyenne Central runner leading the race, and second, Jackson Hole. As we said before this race started, we had okay, so the favorites going in were Sydney Morell of Cheyenne Central and Madison Antonio from Jackson, and Addison Forey from Laramie also on that list that we took off the Wyo Prep site this morning. Dark horse runners, Allie Wheeler of Natrona County, Avery Perriton of Cheyenne Central, and the team favorites in this race, Cheyenne Central and Natrona County High School. So we still have more runners working their way down through the course here and heading out onto the north half. So we'll stay with them. And then when we get a view of the runners heading toward the finish line, we'll pick it up as they come into the chute and head toward the finish. We're about 12:39 into this first race, the 4A girls.
Did you hear Kaylin here with the top 3 there?
I did.
Yeah, Cheyenne East, Jackson, and then Laramie. So that's going to be
Cheyenne Central,
Cheyenne
the first
Central,
runner.
I'm so sorry, yeah, Cheyenne Central and Laramie in third. I feel like Laramie could easily, they have got some great runners. They could easily make a pass up there into first or second place.
Well, and they run at altitude too, Shawn.
Yes, they do.
At 7,000 feet. So you've got to think that's got to make a little bit of a difference. And now you'll see the crowd with the runners, the final runners making the curve. You'll see the crowd head down toward the finish line. And this chute leads to some very exciting finishes.
Yeah, and especially with the way that they've kind of they've closed them in on there with the little red netting. it's really interesting to see how they're going to get in there. Maybe they could have a push for first or a little battle there, but they're going to do it all in this little chute, like you said, and it makes for some great views from up here.
As you can see, a lot of people moving toward the finish line, and here's the orange chute where the runners will come back across the canal, and they will take a right about there, and they'll make their way toward the finish line. We're going to focus our efforts on the finish line because that will have an unobstructed view of the finish right here.
And we have got quite a few already streaming. We welcome you to our stream from the 2022 Cross Country Championships. The 4A girls, if you're just now joining us, coming in about halfway, a little bit over halfway done with their first race. And we've already got top three. We got Laramie in third, and Cheyenne Central in first, and Jackson in second. And like you said, Cody, running at altitude, there's some schools here that run much, much higher than where we're at right now, which is just above, what, 55,000 feet?
Yeah, we're about a mile high here at Wyoming Indian High School. As we said, entering this race, WyoPreps had given a comprehensive preview of this state championship. The favorites going in individually were Sydney Morrell from Cheyenne Central, Madison Tonio from Jackson. Other contenders included Addison 4A of Laramie. Dark horse people expected to finish high, Allie Wheeler of Natrona County and Avery Perriton of Cheyenne Central. And then the team favorites in this race going in were Cheyenne Central and Natrona County High School. So two of the state's biggest high schools, you'd expect them to contend in this state championship event.
I'm also really excited. I know we're already in the 4. I know we're only in the 4A, but I am extremely excited to see what 3A looks like. Excuse me. 3A is going to have some great runners. I've been covering most of them all year with a lot of Fremont County runners, and that'll be an exciting race. They've got quite a bit of good runners there.
Big crowd out here on a Saturday morning for this event, and I think word got out, and big tip of the hat to everybody here in Lander and Riverton on the reservation. Wyoming Indian High School doing an outstanding job putting together a competitive race course that everybody can be proud of, and then a chance at having a cultural event. I just picked up 2 more tents here behind me, so there's 6 teepees up right here in this general area of the race, which is just east of the Wyoming Indian High School complex out in this kind of river bottom country that is part of the Chiefs campus. And it takes a lot of work. When they first started doing this, they had to come up with a course. They had to flatten the course a little bit. They had to fill in some holes. They had prairie dogs living out here, and they had to take care of things, and they did all that. And it's been pretty exciting to see this community come together to host the state, the entire state of Wyoming, and everybody who enjoys running in this wonderful venue.
Yeah, and you said it, host the state. It feels like half the state's here right now. I mean, there's quite a few people, not just out in front of us, but like I said, behind us, to our left, to our right, and we have our first runners coming through the chute, I think. And like I said, if you are anywhere near Ethete, we're going to be here till just about 1:15, I think, is the final start, and that'll be the last race. But we will be here all day, and there's plenty of stuff to do. Dogs, horses to pet, there's plenty of stuff. Here they come. I see an orange jersey coming out in front.
Usually that means Natrona County or maybe Jackson.
That is orange, right? There is just an orange net in front of her. Maybe that's what it is.
She's going to, actually, we've got it right here.
She's got red on.
That's going to be Cheyenne Central.
There we go.
In 1830, she crosses the line. I believe that is Sydney Morrell, the runner. And the second runner across, I believe, is from Jackson Hole.
I always find it so interesting whenever they cross that finish line. You can see their legs are like jello. They've just been running for so long that they need some help. But that just shows the dedication, the true grit from all these runners, and they want to do what they can. And look at the sportsmanship here, giving a hug to second place. It's what you like to see.
Here comes another runner down the through the chute.
And this is going to be about 50 seconds behind first place. Still, great job. 19:25. I don't think I could even run this in 25 minutes myself. And I believe that would be Laramie, right? The maroon?
It is Laramie, the third runner. And it looks like another Central runner in fourth. Don't want to guess too much, but now we've got three of the same team, it looks like, coming across. We've got one runner that just went down, and we've got to try to move these runners out of the way of other people finishing.
Yeah, right.
It gets fairly dramatic as the runners come to the finish line.
Dramatic's the right term, but also you got to think about just the way that your legs probably feel. Even if you've been conditioning for this all year long, it's not easy to run for that long of time and not just collapse once you're finally down.
Once this race is complete, we should be able to get the finishers in the race. They'll print them out right down here at the competitive timing van.
I believe we have a QR code walking around somewhere too. And we have some names being yelled out here. We can't really hear exactly who they are and what place they are, but
this is the 4A girls finish. Outstanding finish. First runner that came in was from Cheyenne Central. We had predicted, thanks to WyoPreps.com, the winner of the race, and the favorite was Sydney Morrell of Cheyenne Central, and then Madison Antonio of Jackson were expected to be the favorites, and it looks like we did have a Central and a Jackson runner finish number 1 and number 2 in this 4A girls race. Next up, we've got 3A girls getting ready to start, and it will happen a few minutes after this race finishes as the final runners make their way across the course. Breeze blowing out of the northwest. It's kind of picking up a little bit. Been coming and going throughout this day as we get more runners making their way across the finish line.
CompetitiveTiming.com will have these results very shortly, but as of right now, they have Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up on their screen saying, just wait.
Okay.
And I've already talked to Mr. Bauder, the athletic director, the activities director here at Wyoming Indian. He's agreed to let us talk to some of the winners today, which is something that we did out at the Chief Nation Invitational here earlier, and we got to talk to the guy that set the record here, Owen Burnett. And he's going to be a big threat to deal with as well today when he comes out to run for Mountain View.
More runners entering the chute. Still people out on the north end of the racetrack. Finish line getting fairly jammed up with runners.
Runners and their family, and then the people helping. So as you see on your camera, there's just a big horde of people there, and most of those are family members waiting to congratulate their kids and coaches as well. I see a few coaches out there, and 4A girls completing their state championship, completing their season today. That's going to be something that they're able to hold on to forever, and just really excited. We're up to 23 minutes and 20 seconds. Again, still about 5 times better than I could ever think of doing on a course like this.
3A girls have just received their 10-minute warning.
We're going to rock with the girls first and get to the boys a little later.
If you want to see it, the way to see this race is not at the finish line. You can line up along the chute and see these runners come past, and if you go to the finish line, you're going to be behind a sea of folks.
It's WyoToday's YouTube page. WyoToday, WyoToday's YouTube page.
Do have fans coming up trying to tune into the live stream here.
Yes.
And also for the live feed we have up here, if you want to check it out, it's WyoToday on the YouTube page there. For any of the spectators that have family members at home that want to take part, watch the live feed.
And we're getting a big shout out here from Caitlin
Yeah.
Sunroads.
Nice to get that shout out.
Relation to Colton Sunroads, who I believe we'll see today. He's a great runner for Wyoming Indian.
Kalen Sunroads was a great athlete in his day.
Yeah,
Do have clouds moving down over the Wind River Mountains. Looks like maybe a little snow in those up high today, and that's where the snow is supposed to be. It's sunny and blue sky here for the most part. We do have some overhead clouds, but we do have blue sky and sun, which an hour ago I wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah, I haven't seen snow since my very, very first day that I moved here, and I drove through a blizzard for the last 30 minutes of my drive.
They're calling all 3A girls to the start line, and we'll have that start coming right up. Solid action here at WyoToday.
Definitely, and I'm going to switch real quick to our time so you can see them for your All right, we are here with Sydney Morrell, the winner of the 4A girls from Cheyenne Central. Just tell us what's going through your mind right now. You just won first in your division there at Ethete.
Yeah, I'm super happy with how the race went. I wasn't expecting to take the lead sort of early-ish in the race. Somewhat like after the second mile, I think, is when I took the lead. And honestly, I expected it to come down to the last 1,000 meters that that the race would kind of play out. So
yeah, you had two runners really close on your tail there. What goes through your mind when you're getting close to the finish line and you can feel them just breathing down your neck like that?
Yeah, and I somewhat expected that, and so I went into the race knowing that I'd have to deal with that. But I mean, I think it helps me have a stronger finish as well, which is what you want. So
yeah, and you started off, it was cloudy, a little overcast, and now the sun's come out. What's your favorite part about this course? I'm sure you've run it a couple times before, yeah?
You know, this is actually my second time running it from the state course last year, and it's about the same weather that it was last year, and so I actually really enjoy this course. And it started out pretty windy this morning, and so I was a little disappointed, but the weather got a lot better, and so that actually made my mindset a lot better going into the race as well.
That's great, yeah. Tell us, for those of us that don't run competitively, what's kind of the toughest part about a course like this?
You know, I would say probably the last mile of the race. It's just a big square, and so it's a lot of running straight, and you know, there's not a lot of fans out there, and so it gets pretty quiet. But I think that's like the toughest part of the race mentally and probably physically, just because it's the last mile. But yeah.
Cool. Well, hey, congratulations again. You're going to have a lot of fun. You got the boys race coming up here too shortly, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Do you know of very many runners on that team? Who are you rooting for today?
Yeah, obviously the people on the central team, and we're hoping to have possible state championship individually and with the team for the boys. So.
Well, hey, yeah, congratulations.
Yeah.
We're all rooting for everyone here, rooting for you.
Right.
And again, congratulations. We'll be right back with another runner here shortly and another race coming up in just a second.
Welcome back to Ethete and the Wyoming State Cross Country Championships. Congratulations to Sydney Morrell. We're getting ready for the 3A girls mass start here. And here's Shawn.
This is my favorite part with the horse and the little routine that they do. It's a lot about tradition out here, as you can tell when you just step onto the high school campus here. You can just tell it's all about tradition. It's all about what these people and what the school has been through just to get to this moment, like right here. And this is where it's at. They get them all hyped up and do the runaround, and here they go.
Dramatic start here, as always, at Wyoming Indian High School as the runners get going in. Favorites in this race individually expected to be Ryan Smith of Rollins, Amaya Eddy of Lander, and Taylon Stinson of Cody. Other contenders for the individual crown, according to WyoPreps.com, Ava Stafford of Cody and Zena Tapia of Worland. Other runners listed here, Carla Saby of Lyman. The team favorite expected to be the Cody girls, and other team contenders in the 3A girls run include Buffalo. So we'll rehatch that as the crowd makes its way down to the extreme east part of this course, where they will take a sharp right turn and go up over the hill and head into the north half of campus. And they make a big loop up on the the south end, and then they'll come back toward the north as a group, and that's where we'll start figuring out who's ahead, who's trailing, and who's got to make up some time, Shawn, on the north half.
Yeah, and let me tell you, so when I was out here, I know I've mentioned it a couple of times, but the Chief Nation Invitational, I got to interview Ryan Smith after she won, and she set a personal best that day for herself. She's going to be tough to beat. She's already beaten this course once this year. But another name you mentioned, Amaya Eddy, she has been on a tear. I think, I might be mistaken on this, but I have been writing about her all season. I think she's only had 2 races out of her 7 races where she hasn't finished in first place. And those 2 spots that she didn't finish in first were 2nd and 6th. And she said that her 6th place finish didn't happen because of anything particular, but just because of how good the talent was in that race. So Amaya Eddy is a heavy favorite here. She's going to be one tough cookie to beat, but Ryan Smith, like I said, already beating this from Rollins. It'll be a great race.
3A girls, they will compete with anyone in this state, and we've got the 2A girls coming up after this 3A girls race, and then they'll go right into the boys, 4A, 3A, and 2A in these Wyoming State Cross Country Championships. We're proud to be out here with the Wind River Radio Network, also WyoToday Media, and we are streaming this broadcast on the WyoToday page on YouTube. So you can go out, you can watch it afterwards. We're doing our best to get as much of the running as we can. We get the start, we get the finish, and maybe we get some of the kids out on the course. So we would have loved to put up a lift today so that we could have been high above the action, but the wind did not allow us to do that today. So, but right now the conditions, Shawn, pretty nice. Slight breeze coming out of the northwest.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I was telling our YouTube page to another citizen out here that wants to watch, and no, you're right. The weather, just driving out here, I was driving into the wind, and you know, like Ernie last night, I was driving home from Douglas, and I was driving through some of the worst wind I've had to deal with since I moved up here. And when I looked at the weather, it said it was supposed to continue out here today, but really, really, really happy that it did not continue in the way that it was. So,
yeah, get ready, because the fall, the winter, the spring, Shawn, we get some wind. And what we say in Wyoming is, you know why the wind blows here?
Why?
It's because Nebraska sucks.
I think another one I've heard that I really like is the difference between Wyoming and the rest of the country is we don't name our wind, which is, of course, Hurricane Ian and everything that just happened. They name all their winds, which is something that I never had to deal with in Kansas either. But the wind up here is something different, I will tell you that much.
We're pretty fortunate in Fremont County. We're kind of in a bowl, and so we don't get the high winds in a lot of the urban areas that they get say between here and Laramie. High wind warnings expected today, and actually Interstate 80 currently closed to high-profile trailers right now because we've just had so many crashes in recent memory. So I was going to pull a trailer to Laramie this afternoon, be at the Wyoming game tonight, and unfortunately I'm not going to be able to take that trailer down. But now a young lady's walking by advertising $5 breakfast burritos.
Ooh, I don't have any cash.
I could stand a couple of those right now, but good crowd out here on a beautiful Saturday in the fall. We've just had an absolutely gorgeous fall.
Yeah, I cannot complain from everything that people told me.
You haven't even called a football game yet in snow.
No, and I was told that by the middle of October I would only be calling football games in the snow. So
well, we could have a snowy playoff season. The playoff matchups are set, and
yes, they
we'll
are.
pull those up and talk about those here at the break. But we've got runners out on the course. It's the 3A girls race, and we're zoomed in on the teepee on the far east end, and when the runners come off the south half of the course, they will run past the teepee. They'll come down the hill, and they'll take a left, and we'll get the leaders at that point as they make the left and head toward this finish area. But that doesn't mean they're done with the race, because then they'll take a sharp right. They'll run in front of this area, and they'll go down on the north half of the race. And that was a great question you asked of the 4A girls champion, because I would have thought the first half would be the part that would grind on, but she said it's actually after you head into the north half of the course, you're out there, it's quiet, you're by yourself, and then it becomes a grind toward the finish. And so that was good stuff. We did have the 4A girls state champion here, as Shawn O'Brate interviewed Sydney Morrell of Cheyenne Central. So
yeah, I also thought that first half it looks like you're going uphill, 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 and I would imagine that would be tougher. And we have an update. Rollins, like I said, Ryan Smith most likely. Rollins in first, followed closely by Lander, who we can only imagine is Amaya Eddy. And like I said, Eddy has just been tearing it up these last few weeks. I think she's gotten 3 straight first-place finishes in her races. And I think the only place she didn't finish first was here earlier in September. So she has a lot to prove today, and Lander could definitely see some success with her and a lot of her teammates doing really well so far this year.
Cody Phillies favored in this race. They are the defending 3A girls state champions, and we'll see how that plays out. Yeah, I believe it's the scores of the top 5 runners, and it starts out the low score wins the team competition. So if you finish first, you're assigned 1 point, second 2 points, and thereon. So yes. Cody girls, they've been solid top to bottom all year, and we'll see how they come out in this 3A run. But I know there's a large group of fans watching the broadcast up in Cody, and we thank you for tuning in to WyoToday Media.
Yeah, and not just Cody favored in track, but I would imagine Cody's probably favored in 3A football as well, as they're ranked #1 again, defending their state championship. That'll be a game against Warland. I don't know if it'll be a good game, but that'll be a game.
It is almost unfair this year with Cody and 3A football. They're an outstanding group of young men, and they've got a future Division I player that's going to decide here soon where he's going to go. And you know, a lot of us Wyoming fans are hoping that he moves to Laramie, and like his dad did, and his brother, Nick Talich, is there. Luke Talich, one of the best athletes in the state, regardless of class, is getting recruited by some of the bigger Power 5 schools now. And
oh, yeah. I got to call his game against Riverton. It was a blowout, 49-0, so he actually ended up not playing the final quarter. But you're right. I can see why people are looking at him. I believe Oregon State was one of the schools that had just reached out to him right before that game. So I know he's got Wyoming and he's got Oregon State on his list. You do hope that he goes to Wyoming, though.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes in the recruiting process. You never know what might happen, but Oregon State was the first offer he received, and my understanding is Wyoming came in just a little bit later on that, which, you know, I think the family would have liked Wyoming to be first on that list. Definitely. So, but things happen, and And Wyoming's recruiting is always interesting to watch because they come in with their recruits a little bit later than some of the other schools.
We've got some bags that are being lost. If you're watching this out on the field, you have a bag that you picked up that is to Jackson's team.
Wyoming Indian basketball coach Craig Ferris driving past us on
I believe
ATV.
Kaylee Ferris, relation there, also running today.
I don't know if we've got runners coming back through or if that's just a teammate running up there on top, but
It looks like
we
got
do
some
have
runners
runners
coming
down
back.
here
Yeah.
in the bottom.
Yeah, there you go. Shine a light on them because I think that's in front. That looks like red. That'd be Rollins. And then white and green is Lander. And they are neck and neck. I think Rollins has got about a 2-foot lead on her. Maybe a little bigger now that they're turning. Still probably no more than 10, 12 feet between the two of them. And Lander really, really lucky on their track and field to have people like Gage Ghost on the boys' side and Reed McFadden, who's coming back from an injury. But on the girls' side, you don't talk about him as much because Gage Ghost is breaking records left and right. But Amaya Eddy, she is, I don't mean to keep tooting her horn, but she is one player, one runner that Lander can look forward to for a couple years as possible state champion.
It'll be a battle here in this north half of the course. We'll see who exchanges places, but right now a pretty decent lead for the leader in this 3A girls race as more runners make their way down the runway, and we're catching them as they run straight west toward the Wind River Mountains and make that turn to the north and head toward Ethete. A lot of fans running now across the area trying to root on their runner as they make that curve and head down the racetrack here at Wyoming Indian High School.
What's funny is those aren't just fans. A lot of times, and I found this out during the September race here, a lot of times those are coaches. They get up there and they get as in between the two spots where they can maybe get their voice to their runners' ears, and they're trying to coach them up from as many angles as possible. And you get a lot of coaches out there. That's why we haven't been able to see very many coaches. I was hoping to talk to Coach Hermini Hermini Horses before too long, but I think he's out there just getting ready with his runners.
Yeah, he's going to be pretty busy here until the 2A girls race happens, and then they'll have the 4A boys will come up next.
Again, we have Rollins in first, and second is Cody, not Lander.
And our third place runner coming in at the 2-mile mark, we have Lander.
And there's probably Amaya Eddy in third behind Cody.
The Ryan Smith from Rollins was expected to be one of the favorites, along with Amaya Eddy of Lander and Taylin Stinson of Cody. Also Ava Stafford of Cody and Zena Tapia of Worland. Carla Saby of Lyman expected to finish in that top group too. Of course, the Cody girls expected to be the team favorite, and then the other team expected to contend with Cody is Buffalo. So we'll see how it goes. As you can see, they're well out in this second part of the course on the north end.
Yeah, I would imagine that Ryan Smith, very humble when I talked to her after winning. She set a personal record here. I know that she's looking to break that own record and maybe even break the course record for the girls, but you wouldn't know it by talking to her. She's very humble, and she's got a great head on her shoulders, and I'm sure that a college in the future could look to her for their team as well.
As we wait for the 3A girls runners, Shawn, it might be good to flash up the schedule if you're waiting to see when your race is going to take place. We'll take a short break as we get into the second half of the 3A girls race. Welcome back to Ethete, Wyoming Indian High School, in the 3A girls race at the Wyoming State Cross Country Championships. We've got the leaders and all the runners, I believe, out on the north end of the course now as they make a big loop. You can see them running down toward Ethete, and they'll make that big loop, and then they'll come back in front of a group of Russian olive trees, make a right-hand turn, and run probably about a quarter mile where they will take a right-hand turn and head into the chute as they head toward the finish line. We do we have any runners? No, we just got some kids running around down there in front of us. We should be getting
you can
the
tell when they're
first
getting
runners.
close, yeah, because all of the fans start to flood to the chute here on the outside, and you can tell when the runners are starting to get a little close because you can see the families following very closely. And yeah, I do see quite a bit of kids running out there trying to keep up with their older brothers and sisters.
1740 mark, Shawn, and so we're probably about a minute from getting the first finishers. Maybe not quite that long. It's quite the festive atmosphere out here. We've got 6 teepees. We've got fry bread and stew for sale in the concession stand.
Breakfast burritos, too.
Breakfast burritos. We saw those signs a while ago, and just a lot of activity. And they've got bleachers set up for people. People can wander around on the course and root on their favorite runners. And I'm guessing we're getting ready to see some of the runners coming up this back stretch and head toward the finish line.
I see a few girls coming up, I think, coming around this corner right here. Once again, I think those are kids. And you're talking about how festive it is out here. This is not just a fun time to be in Ethete. This is a great opportunity for Wyoming Indian to get some extra attention, get some possible funding. I mean, all this money has to go somewhere, and this is a great just opportunity for a lot of kids that don't get to come out here very often.
First runner's getting ready to head into the chute, and we'll try to get a view of the first runners.
It's really difficult out there. You can see they kind of get jammed up because there's just like a crossroad of fans. Here we go.
The front runners coming in here for the 3A girls coming down the home stretch.
With all sorts of speed.
Oh yeah, she used the last of her energy to get through this, and that looks like Amaya Eddy from Lander. Number 1 right there, 1930. I told you she was a force to be reckoned with.
You did. You only said her name about 42 times.
And there's Ryan Smith, and only 9 seconds, give or take, behind.
She just went down, and
yeah.
Now you've got the first runner in from Cody, and she is held up, and they'll walk her toward.
And that's Stinson from Cody. Boy, wouldn't you want to be one of the workers down there that just catches the kids coming in as they drop with all the excess force that they just used.
So Maya Eddy, the 3A girls state champion, and it looks like the first Cody runner to finished third.
And then who's purple out here?
Maybe Glenrock. They may be
Saratoga
in 2A.
Be in third. 3A, Saratoga.
They're in 2A. Here's the girl from Worland just finishing.
Worland, of course, winning your end game against Riverton last night. They have to play Cody in football next week. That'll be a toughie.
2A girls just got the 10-minute warning.
And I think I see Saratoga up in 2A, so it's definitely not Saratoga.
Yeah, they're in 2A.
Again, so many schools out here. You'd think the whole state of Wyoming's here right now. And you can see all sorts of colors from all sorts of schools. It's a great time out here. Still got plenty of time if you are anywhere near Ethete.
2 more runners from Cody just finished.
And there's Miss Ferris.
Another Cody runner. And then 3 more runners make their way across. Another Cody girl. And a Cody girl just made a pass at the finish line. So
last second get that extra win there.
WyoToday for the live stream.
And I have a feeling, well, when Amaya comes up here, we'll be able to talk to her. But we will get official results here. The app and website competitive timing is still using up as much time as possible to make sure those official results are correct. So we will get official results for 4A and 3A coming up very shortly. Hopefully between the break, maybe I can go down and grab an unofficial scorecard, but there will be some official times coming out very shortly.
2A girls are warming up just to the right of where these 3A girls are finishing.
Finish exit lanes open, please.
We're up to 22:25.
Yeah, you got to make sure you keep those areas clear. All the runners running in, and they're just running straight into family and friends. You got to keep that area clean there.
More girls making their way toward the finish.
And it's not only a great place to run cross country, they have a pretty good track and field set up out here as well. And when the spring is around and it's all bright green, it's really a pretty place. Right behind the finish line is where they do their shot put and their throwing for their field events. And then right behind us is multiple track events where the long jump and the high jump happen. And it's just a great place to be on a good day like this.
Everybody taking advantage of one of the, at least for a while, one of the last nice days with sunshine, warm temperatures. It was about 58 degrees when I got here. It's got to be over 60 now.
It's definitely getting warm. I thought it was going to be cold, so I wore some extra layers. Might have to take one or two of them off. And I see Landers, a lot of Lander kids coming through, and I see Coach Goes out there from the track team. I'm sure he's here with his son Gage. And you're right, the girls are all warming up. They're looking very, very, very ready to get going, including the Wyoming Indian Lady Chiefs. Got quite a few runners out here today in their red and blue. I think, I said it before, I think Wyoming Indian has the coolest color palette of any high school I think I've seen.
They do. That Columbia blue and red is pretty nice.
It looks great on their football uniforms with the feathers on the shoulders, but it looks good on their cross-country uniforms as well.
More runners making their way across in the 3A girls. We'll have the 2A girls race coming up.
And who's going to be the favorites in the 2A outside of
2A girls are scheduled to run at 11:30. I don't even know what time it is. 11:23, so we are staying on schedule. The favorites include Mallory Jones of Moorcroft, Marilee Williams of Saratoga, and Madison Teichman of Saratoga. Other contenders include Abby Paulus of Hewlett and Ruth Johnson of Thermopolis. Dark horse contenders include Anessa Luna of Lovell, according to WyoPreps.com. The team favorite is Saratoga, with other team contenders. Give Saratoga a run is expected from Tongue River today. So those are your 2A girls. That race will get underway in about 6 minutes.
There's Carl. And we got a 5-minute warning. And there's Coach Hermini Horses with the Wyoming Indian team over there.
We're going to move toward the starting line with our stream.
Hey, Carl. Wyoming Indians got a lot of girls. I don't know who they all are, but you got it, yeah. Our photographer always having a fun time out here. And I see a few familiar faces from Riverton down here, even though she's technically a Shoshone teacher, but we saw her at our friend Rusty's wedding. Coach of the track and field team for Shoshone. And man, when I say I came unprepared, I didn't eat, nor did I bring a water bottle. I'm just feeling it right now. Can use a breakfast burrito and a nice soda. And the wind is definitely starting to pick up here now. we're going to see if we can get Amaya Eddy up here after 2A kicks off. And we have got a lost phone up here.
It's an iPhone tie-dye phone case on it.
We are just 5 minutes away from the 2A girls. And I think this would be a great time, just give a little bit of a reminder of our clock and the time, and we will be right back for the 2A girls kickoff on WyoToday's YouTube page. Getting ready to start the 2A race here. We got the horse, the tradition, the runaround.
Again, the starter of our race, our pace horse there, we have Adriano Brown.
Adriano Brown, the starter, as he was last year.
I believe he was in September as well at the Chief Nation Invitational.
It's easily the most unique start of any meet in the state.
And they have two horses here, but they only use the white one. I think the other one is used for maybe companionship or something. I don't know very much about horses, but they have two horses out there, and whenever that one's not pacing out in front of the runners, it's hanging out with the other horse. So.
All right. Hard for me to see that little screen.
Oh yeah, you got a good view. If you want to switch up here, we could definitely do some different roles. And there's Ryan Smith getting second place for Rollins. I'm sure.
Is that Eddie right there? Is she coming up?
No, Eddie will be coming up here after I talk to her.
Okay.
She's down there celebrating with friends and family to your 11 o'clock there. She's got the long hair. And she is the 3A girls champion from Lander. So Fremont County already has one up on the board out of 2 races. And here they go for the 2A girls. I see one lone Fort Washakie runner. I see 7 Wyoming Indian runners. And then the rest are all from outside of Fremont County. And you know the Lady Chiefs are looking to show that home field advantage has its benefits out here. They're able to run on this course every day, all day if they want to. Hopefully they can get a little bit of a lead and stay safe out there in that lead, because it looks like they have quite a bit of history on this course.
Runners following Adriano Brown and his white roan horse as they make their way toward the teepee on the far east end of this course. This is the 2A girls race, our 3rd race of the day.
Yeah, if it's already flying by, it doesn't feel like it's been 2 races, and I think that's just a benefit of being able to be out here and enjoy all the fun stuff that's going on. Lots of fun. And these girls and these boys are putting their bodies to the test. I'm seeing girls collapse and throw up just a little bit. That's just something that comes with 20 minutes worth of pure running.
That's too much information, Shawn.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I would be doing if I ran for 20 minutes straight either. You probably wouldn't hear from me for a couple weeks.
Why don't you run down there and see if you can get some results
Yes,
of
yes,
our
I
first
will.
two
That's a
races.
great idea. I will be right back.
Grab Amaya, too, if you can. Racers heading up the hill toward the south half of the course here in the 2A event. And we're proud to be here. WyoToday Media streaming today the state cross-country meet, brought to you by Buckle Up for Life Wyoming.
All right, just a heads up, we do have concessions up in front of the high school there. We have stew and fry bread. We've got pulled pork for the traditional club.
We've got pulled pork. They've got stew and fry bread out here at Wyoming Indian High School.
As well set up there.
They've got all kinds of goodies.
We also have a place for you to eat and a little lounge area there where you can eat. So come on up.
A lot of fans out here today, and we're proud to bring you this
At the high school.
state championship event on WyoToday Media. We're streaming on WyoToday at YouTube. We're going to try to get some results from the 4A and 3A girls so that we can do that. We're going to get Amaya Eddy up here from Lander Valley High School, the state 3A girls champion. And congratulations to her and all the other finishers of the 3A girls race. We are in the 2A girls race right now. A lot of things going on today at Ethete, Wyoming. It's a safe bet that many of the fans have never been here before. And that's a great opportunity for cultures to come together, people to visit the Wind River Reservation and find out about life in another area than, say, Cheyenne or Casper or, Gillette, places that traditionally host these state events. And it's pretty neat that it's here at Wyoming Indian High School. Keith Bauder and his crew have done an outstanding job. Second year in a row doing this event, and it's been a huge success. We are they did not reset that. We are into the 2A girls race.
And again, just a reminder,
First half of the race.
times will be posted on competitivetiming.com. And for those
They are saying that the official times will be posting at competitivetiming.com. We are hoping to get some, we do have Amaya Eddy coming up to join us here, and we'll do the interview with our state champion, Amaya Eddy. Putting on the headset, and
All right.
Amaya,
Yeah.
we just want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
Great race today. You weren't leading when you headed toward the north half of the course,
No.
right? When did you make your move?
I think definitely for a little bit I thought I was out of it. I think both of them had really strong second miles and third miles. But I think when I got to that 4,000 meter, I just decided this is when I have to go. Just leave it all out there. So that's when I started to go, I think.
Well, it's pretty exciting seeing a Lander Valley girl coming down that chute.
Yeah.
What does it feel like when you enter that chute with all those fans?
Oh, I don't know. I think I just have so much adrenaline going, and it just feels a little bit unreal. And just praying it's over. For sure.
When did you start running?
I started running. I've been going for a while now. I think I like to run a lot with my dad. We've been going out together just on trail runs for as long as I can remember. So
You like to get up in the mountains and run and things like that?
Yeah, we love to do that.
Well, outstanding race today.
Thank you.
Do you have plans to continue your running career?
I think so. I think I'm looking to NXR now, which is in a couple weeks. Definitely training for that, just to kind of elongate my season a little bit.
Where's that at?
I think that's in Boise, Idaho.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll
Well,
see.
congratulations. How does it feel
Thank
to be
you
a
so
state
much.
champion?
It feels awesome. Yeah, definitely.
That's
an
amazing.
honor.
When we saw Lander, we were like, that's really cool. This guy said your name 40 times during the race. So, hey, again, congratulations, and pretty cool to win a state championship out here at Wyoming Indian High School.
Oh
huh?
yeah, it's amazing. Thank you.
You like this course?
Yeah, I do. I think having the first mile be that slight uphill, it honestly feels a little. It's definitely rough, but it feels fast, and it's nice to get that uphill over with in the beginning.
It was nice to see nice weather today too, right?
Yeah, for sure. This was definitely unexpected. We were thinking about rain and wind, but
All right, pretty exciting. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much. Have a great one.
All right. We have
you.
our mile marker.
Hey, go tell your coach if they want to come up here too.
That was Amaya Eddy, the state champion.
State champion at a sophomore year, so she's got 2 more years of coming up here and winning state again. She could very, very, very easily become one of Lander's best runners.
Well, it was interesting. She thought she was out of the race, but she came back into the race and made her move, she said, at the 4 mile mark. Well, not 4 mile mark, but
4,000 meter
4,000
mark,
meter mark. Thank you.
Yeah, meters and miles, and we're in America. I don't know the big difference, but meters, 4,000 of them, and she decided to start pushing it at that moment. That takes a lot of effort, a lot of skill, and a lot of good pacing with your breathing. That's one of the main things I've learned after covering a lot of cross country and a lot of track and field so far in my time in Wyoming, especially up here in altitude. Your pace of breath and the way that you breathe while you're running, just jogging gingerly, is very, 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 very important. Whereas in track, those little short bursts, your breathing is important, but not as important as your footing and the other things that come with quick 300-meter hurdles or 100-meter dashes. This takes a lot more skill with the diaphragm, or not your solar plex, your chest. You have to breathe correctly.
Yeah, it's one of those deals that you develop. Running is something you can do your whole life, and as Amaya said, one of the things that really got her into running was going out and enjoying running in the hills around Lander and the mountains with her dad. So fun little interview, and Lander has a state champion, and as Shawn said, she's a sophomore, so a lot of good things coming for that young lady. 2A girls race underway. We are out on the south half of the course. Yeah, I'll pass the headphones over to Lander coach, and we can talk about his runner's effort in winning a state title.
Coach, can you hear me?
I got you now.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, hey, great to get you. This was kind of a surprise that we got you up here. This is Coach Kevin Green, cross-country coach for Lander. How's it feel to have a state champion under your belt this year?
Oh, it's awesome. She's a sophomore, and she started really coming on in spring track as a freshman. And then she had some knee problems this summer, and so we really took it slow getting her into the season. And she's a very strong second-half runner of the race, and that's what she stayed close enough today to use her tools to win.
Yeah, she told us about 4,000 meters is when she felt the heat, and she decided to turn it up, and she beat Rollins, Ryan Smith, who I interviewed here earlier this year because she won on this back in September. But Amaya with the last-ditch effort there and came up. She's only a sophomore, like you said, but her last 4 races have all finished in first or second place. You got a serious, almost like a dynasty with this runner here.
Well,
how are you feeling heading into the future with her?
That's awesome. I mean, not only her, we also had a freshman girl. Blue Blackburn was ended up 8th. She's all-state, which as a freshman's kind of unheard of,
Yeah,
but,
that's crazy.
Yeah, we're very young, and we knew that coming in, and so it's going to show a little bit in our 3, 4, 5 runners team score-wise. But, yeah, we've got a lot of building blocks and a lot of kids coming back, and had some great time with seniors. We had 3 senior girls that ran that race, and it's just that's the bitter and the sweet of it. But Amaya certainly ran the race that she's supposed to, and we planned out, and it's good to have young runners in there as well.
Yeah, and this is a beautiful course. I don't know how often you actually run on it, but you get to see it a lot. What can you say is kind of the hardest part about this for a runner that may not, or for people that may not be able to run out here?
Well, the first third of the course is gradual uphill up to the mile mark and a little beyond before you start heading back down, and then it gets flat. So, we talk a lot about using your energy wisely. Don't let people gap you on that hill. But then we get to the flat part of the course, the last mile and a half or so, that's where you really got to run smart. Yeah. And if you're a little quicker that way, it's good. So the first part, it's a great course. I mean, true cross-country course, but it's just you got to run it smart.
Yeah. And speaking of smart, I know you got some smart boy runners. Who should we be looking out for today?
Yeah, Diego Lobatos has led our team the whole year. He was all-conference. He was all-state last year, and
yes, he was.
Certainly looking to be all-state this year. But 3A boys that's a tough one. Boy, I'm telling you, there are some fast kids in there, and it's going to take quite an effort to just be all state this year in 3A boys. But I think Diego definitely has a legitimate shot. Reed McFadden has a excellent shot at placing high, and Gage Ghost, who's of course really his forte is hurdles, but we don't have any hurdles out there today,
No.
so he should be running up there too.
Yeah, and I've talked to Diego a couple times. I actually talked to him last time at a volleyball tournament, and he said he couldn't wait to get back to running. So it's in his blood. I don't know if he was being sarcastic or not.
No.
And I've had my fair share of time with Gage and his father, Coach Ghost. But Reed McFadden, what can you say about him? He came off of a very gnarly injury from track and field where he had blood seeping into his skull, I believe.
He did. Yeah,
and
that's why.
Now he's running state.
Why in the heck you want to put a good runner like Reed high jumping? Come on. But no, he's an awesome high jumper too.
He really is.
He just, he just missed the mat in Glen Rock, and I didn't think we'd have him back at the end of track season last year, and that's just a testament to him. He's very strong. He probably did more than he should have early, but he came on and placed well at state, and then he's back here. So probably cross country is not his necessarily number one event, but he's just an all-around athlete, and it's going to be fun to watch, see what he does today.
Well, Coach, congratulations on winning 3A girls, and good luck on 3A boys. We can't wait to watch them.
Yep.
Good luck to Diego, Reed, Gage, all the rest of the runners out there.
Thank both of you guys for covering us. We appreciate it.
No problem. Lander's got a bright future ahead of them, and we will be right back with some more of the 2A girls coming up. It looks like they're coming up around the edge here, and we'll be right back. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Thank you.
We're back with the 2022 Cross Country State Championship, and after some troubleshooting by the timers down at the finish line, we finally have some names and some scores. I'll read them out for you. So we had our 4A girls start first, and of course we talked to Sydney Morrell from Cheyenne Central. She's a senior. She got first with a time of 18:40, and just 10 seconds behind her, Jackson Hole's sophomore Madison Antonino came in second. And then behind her, about 40 seconds after that, was Addison Forey out of Laramie High. And then after that, between 4th and 10th place was Cheyenne Central, Natrona County, Natrona County, Natrona County, Sheridan, and then 2 Cheyenne Central. So just based off that, you could probably guess, based on team scores, Cheyenne Central came in first with a total low score of 40, with Natrona County High School coming in second, just right behind them at 46. The average time for Cheyenne Central is 19:52, and that's a really good time on this course. And just about 25 seconds behind them is Natrona County's average time as well. After them, they had the 3A girls who, of course, we just talked to the winner, Amaya Eddy, a sophomore out of Lander. She had a time of 19:29, 10 seconds ahead of the winner on this course back in September, Ryan Smith out of Rollins. And this is probably going to be her final run as she's a senior out there. She came in with a time of 19:39, and 8 seconds after her, Cody's Taylon Stinson, another senior. Caprice Wynn out of Mountain View got 4th. Zena Tapia out of Worland came in 5th. We had Lyman Powell and Blue Blackburn, like you heard Coach Green said. She's a freshman, and she came in 8th with a time of 20 minutes and 46 seconds. You have some winners behind them, Evanston, Cody, and Pine Bluffs to finish out the top 12. Cody, like we said earlier, came in first as far as team points go with a score of 58, while Evanston coming in just behind them with a score of 71. Despite having 2 in the top 8, Lander coming in 4th place in team points with 118. Riverton with a total score of 337. They came in 13th. That's another Fremont County school. And just a really great start by Cody there as they finish with the best team points. But as we know individually, Amaya Eddy came in first. And so far in second in the 2A, I believe we have Saratoga in third. Who were those first two? Do you remember? I know Saratoga was third.
Yeah, Saratoga was third, and then first was,
It's all good. We'll get some updated stats up there for you, as we know that Saratoga is definitely in third behind 2 other runners. I missed it with my headphones on, and Cody, of course, getting a little bit more acclimated to the weather. The sun has really come out. I mean, there is a few clouds in front of us, but behind us, it's just all sunshine, and we see a lot of fans rushing towards the chute now. As you can tell, maybe some runners getting a little bit closer near the end. We're coming up on 18 minutes, 50 seconds, so they will be getting close to those times. Amaya finished with 19:29. See if anyone can beat that today.
Still got a couple girls finishing up the first half of the race, heading down toward the north half. And there's runners way down to the north toward Ethete.
So far, best time of the day was Sydney Morell's 18 minutes, 40 seconds, followed by Madison Antonino's 18:50. And those times are already passed, so they're going to hold the best spot today for the girls.
Run through those finishers again, Shawn.
Yeah, you weren't here. So Madison Antonino came in second behind Sydney Morell, and Addison Forey, a junior out of Laramie High School, came in third ahead of Cheyenne Central and then Natrona County finishing out the top 6. And it was Natrona and Cheyenne Central that basically just filled up the top 10. Followed closely by Jackson Hole, Abby Murphy's 20 minutes and 14 seconds. And like I said, Cheyenne Central only beat Natrona County in team points by 6 total points, 40-46, with an average time of 19 minutes, 52 seconds. And then for the 3A girls, we just talked to Lander's Amaya Eddy, a sophomore. She beat 2 seniors in Ryan Smith and Taylon Stinson out of Rollins and Cody, respectfully. And Caprice Wynn out of Mountain View coming in 4th. Zena Tapia coming out of Worland. She's a sophomore as well. She came in 5th. And then Lyman's Carly Saby coming in 6th before Powell and Blue Blackburn out of Lander coming in 8th. And as far as Fremont County goes, as you know, I am the Fremont County sports writer. Riverton didn't have anyone until Alexis Whiteplume, junior, who came in with a time of 23:16. She came in right before Lander's Marley Jones.
We've got the first runner approaching the chute. She's just about ready to make the turn here. 2A girls favorites, Mallory Jones of Moorcroft, Marilee Williams of Saratoga, and Madison Tickman of Saratoga. Abby Paulus of Hewlett, Ruth Johnson of Thermopolis, and Anessa Luna of Lovell expected to do well. The first place finisher coming up the chute, Shawn, in the Class 2A girls meet. And it looks like a Moorcroft uniform, I believe.
Looks like it.
And if that's the case, it is Mallory Jones.
Yep, that is Moorcroft, and that's Mallory Jones. And she finished with a time just before 21:30. And props to her. She's not falling down or just dropping to her knees like most of the runners that come through here. She's got a lot of pace.
Second runner coming across, I believe it's Thermopolis.
Yes.
Or maybe Saratoga. It's actually Saratoga.
Yeah.
So that's Marilee Williams of Saratoga coming in second in the 2A girls. Third place finisher coming across wearing a purple uniform. I believe that is Saratoga.
That's Thermopolis, no.
Nope, it's Thermopolis. So congratulations to Ruth Johnson of Thermopolis. She finishes third.
No, hold on here. Let's see, make sure. Yes, Thermopolis is third. Saratoga and Thermopolis basically wear the same uniforms, yellow and purple.
And now we've got two teammates coming across.
And two Saratoga finishers.
Saratoga finishers.
Gentlemen, the unofficial timing, you can go to competitivetiming.com.
And more Saratoga runners coming in. Saratoga girls are going to be difficult to beat for that state championship as they get 4 runners in that top 10. We've got some runners being carried off the course and more runners making their way toward the chute in the finish of this 2A girls state run.
We got Mallory behind us. We're going to let her take a breath here. She just came straight up here. We didn't need her to come up here that fast.
Well, that's good. We like it.
Yeah, we do. And she coming in first out of Moorcroft. It's going to be one of those teams you really need to look out for in the future. And we're going to let her take a break here while we watch some runners continue to cross the finish line here. I love the native headdresses celebrating at the end there.
More finishers coming across.
And I believe this is going to be
another Saratoga runner, I believe. At least the color of the uniform looks like it.
Yeah, this is going to be the final race for the girls, and then we will get into the boys. They're starting to warm up out there. The 4A boys starting to warm up off the starting line.
More girls working their way to the finish of this 2A girls state run. And we do have the state champion. I'll turn over the headphones to Shawn and I'll move the camera here and we'll get the state champion in Class 2A girls with an interview.
Jackson boys, that is. So maybe check your bags there, runners, competitors, and see. And if you can, find a Jackson boys team.
Mallory Jones, can you hear me?
Yep.
It's a little tight. You can totally do this here.
Okay.
Try moving up. There we go. A little bit better.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations. How's it feel? You're state champion of the 2A girls.
Feels pretty good.
You still got to catch your breath, and I totally understand. But what is this season? You've been leading up to this. What's been like the conditioning and your practices? How much has they paid off?
We've just been like hill workouts and then sometimes sprinting to help with the finish. And yeah.
Yeah, what was the hardest part of this race for you in your own eyes?
The second mile, my breathing was off, so it kind of hurt a little bit.
Well, hey, you did really well. Did you feel any competitors breathing down your neck, especially near the end there? You came in first, but there was a few runners right behind you. How'd you get the jump on them there?
I kind of just tried to keep reaching and keep going so I could kind of get ahead.
And what goes through your mind? Do you focus on your breathing a lot more? Do you focus on your footing, or is it all just kind of come and go?
Just my breathing. I try to focus on it a lot.
Well, hey, you're going to have plenty of time to focus on it. You're going to get to sit down and relax and celebrate again. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mallory winning first place for the 2A girls out of Moorcroft. Congratulations. We're going to come back with the results, but for now we'll leave you with the times as the boys are getting to warm up.
Welcome back to the Wyoming State High School Cross Country Championships. We're waiting for results officially on the 2A girls, but we'll go over the results of the 4A and 3A girls. We've been able to interview the 3 state champions so far. 4A boys are about 5 minutes away from running in this beautiful day at Ethete. And another hats off to the meet director here, the AD at Wyoming Indian High School, Keith Bauder, doing an outstanding job. And I said to him, I said, so this is like a well-oiled machine out here, Keith. He said, well, it sure didn't feel like it at 6 o'clock this morning. So, but
I imagine.
It's sort of like herding cats, I'm sure. But you've got an announcement you want to make, Shawn, as we get ready for this 4A start.
Yeah, whenever you guys see the finish line, you see those adults that are grabbing the girls and the boys as soon as they cross the finish line, and they help them to get to the tent with their water and their rehydration. That's actually the Native American Women Warriors Color Guard, including a few Marines, including Martin Blackburn, the Arapaho Warriors Post 96, Norman Jr.
Norman Willow
Jr., U.S. Marine Corps, Billy Whiteplume, U.S. Army, Steve White, U.S. Marine Corps, and Feather Blackburn, another Marine that's actually on active duty. She's helping out as well, and we just give our hats off to them because not only are they helping protect our freedom and protect our country, but they're helping these kids.
There was some other ladies on that list. Do you have that list?
I have quite a few names on here, but those are the only ones as far as Jude.
There was
Haas,
a lot.
Jude Haas from the Army. Michelone Big Man, I believe I'm reading that right. But they're both in the Army. Either way, there's a lot of Marines and Army soldiers down there, both active and retired, and they are helping out as best they can. They're bringing the kids the water, and they're bringing the kids to the seats under the tent. If it weren't for them, there'd be a big traffic jam at the finish line after every single race. So we really give our hats off to them. That is something that we really admire.
We're getting ready for the 4A boys start as Ambriel Brown has got his horse out on the race course, which and Tom Nyrider, the official starter in the black shirt right there, and we're getting ready for the start of the 4A boys.
They're finding quite a bit of stuff on the ground, so if you're listening to this and you're out on the field and you're missing a phone or a wallet, or they found a few things up here, be sure to come up to the table where we're at, which is up at this top of this hill behind the finish line. So
up by here where Kaylin Sunroads is the PA announcer today.
And we got the horse. And this is 4A boys. And once they start, we'll give you the favorites according to Wyo Preps, and I'm sure there's going to be a few. I like the pink jerseys over there on the left. Those are some fun ones. Quite a few in 4A. This looks like the largest crowd so far to start off on the race.
These will be the state's largest high schools. Should see some of the fastest times of the day here.
And if I can plug something myself, be sure to check out the Ranger and Lander Journal on Wednesday. We're going to have some of the best photos from today, including pictures of not only the winners like Amaya Eddy, but some great pictures from events like moments like right now when he is leading the pace.
4A boys are underway from Ethete. The fourth state championship race of 6, and they're off quickly here on this course.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what kind of intensity the boys bring that maybe the girls didn't, or that the girls might change. Because the boys here, my goodness, some of the times that some of these boys have put forward, like I said, Owen Burnett, I believe, set the course record back in September when he won. He's out of Mountain View. He will be probably the kid to beat today in his race, in his respective race. And the crowd, large crowd following all the way through up to the top of the hill there. Got some good music going.
It's not bad. The music out here isn't bad. Usually when the guy in the red sweatshirt's in charge, man, it is like hits from yesteryear.
It's classic rock without the classic part.
I'm joking. He actually knows what music is. I like it.
He's got a whole DJ crew set going on right now. And
Runners are on the far east side of the course, Shawn, in the 4A boys, and they've made their way up past the teepee, and you can see them. They'll head out on the south half of the course where they'll make a big loop, and then very quickly they'll come back here in about 5-6 minutes. Do you have some official results yet in the 2A girls?
Not of 2A. Oh, yeah, 2A just refreshed and reloaded. And so we talked to Mallory Jones out of Moorcroft. She finished with a time of 21:20, and 22 seconds after that, Marilee Williams out of Saratoga, a junior, she finished with 21:42. And Thermopolis' Ruth Johnson and Lovell's Anessa Luna, both seniors, finished third and fourth. Just under 22 minutes and 4 seconds. Here's the rock music you were listening to. Blink-182 coming over the radio. We got Tongue River. We got a freshman from Tongue River finishing top 7 in 2A, Grace Perkins. She finished with 22:29. Then you got Saratoga, and they just kind of beat up on everyone as they finished on top with the team score of 17. And that is by far the best team score of the day. Not just in 2A, but any race. Tongue River up in second with 57. That shows just how much Saratoga finished well. And then Hewlett High School with 77. Oh, I'm sorry, Thermopolis was 71 and Hewlett was 77. That's going to be a fun moment to go back to if you're Saratoga, that you had that many kids finish in the top 10. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the top 10 all from Saratoga in the 2A. So congrats to Saratoga, even though Mallory Jones out of Moorcroft was the one that finished first. And now we're just going to wait to see who the best odds out of this 4A boys are. You have those numbers, right, Cody?
Yeah, our favorites individually in 4A boys, Habtuma Wetzel of Star Valley and Bridger Brokaw of Cheyenne Central, the favorites individually in this race. Other contenders include Austin Akers of Sheridan, Dominic Eberly of Laramie, and Tristan Enders of Natrona County. Other runners mentioned by WyoPreps.com as having a chance at finishing in the top 10, Landrum Wiley of Sheridan, Jackson Dutcher of Natrona County, and Jace Burton, of Star Valley. Team favorites in this race, Cheyenne Central and Star Valley. Other team contenders, Laramie and Sheridan. So as we said earlier, these cross-country championships, this is the second year at Wyoming Indian, and next year the championships will shift to Cheyenne, which I would submit this venue here at Wyoming Indian, one of the most unique areas to host a state championship. And again, the people involved, High School Activities Association, everybody here at Wyoming Indian High School, the Ethete community has done an outstanding job as hosts in this state culminating event.
Definitely. You don't want to have the same location for state every year, but I would be willing to say that they could have it here almost every year and no one would complain. There's nothing like this out here. And Cheyenne Central, like you said, they're the number one favorites for the team. They finished first in 4A girls, so if they could finish with a team score here lower than everyone else, they would sweep 4A today in the team events, as well as the individual winner from earlier. And for those of you that may think that this is easier than it looks, I just want everyone to know there are some kids here that, even though they've been participating in cross country all year and running all year, sometimes they can't even handle. We've had to already have someone be taken to the hospital just because of how tough a race can be. And that's just how crazy this can be. And we have numbers coming in at the mile marker. At the mile marker, who was leading? At the mile marker, Star Valley is leading, followed by Cheyenne. And Star Valley, like you said, they got Wetzel. That's going to be one of those racers or runners you really have to beat, because I've written his name down quite a bit in some sports some sports recaps over cross country over the season, he's one of those names you consistently see at the top.
Shawn, can you give us a little bit of an update with the 4A, 3A, and 2A girls state champions?
Yeah, 4A, Cheyenne Central High School won with the team score of 40 ahead of Natrona High School with 46. Everyone else was above 100. And Cheyenne Central has Sydney Morrell, who we talked to earlier, to thank for that, as she, a senior, finished her high school career with a first-place state championship time of 18:40, right ahead of Jackson's sophomore Madison Antonino. And then in 3A girls, we talked to her, and Maya Eddy Lander. She's a sophomore. She's still got 2 more years to try and beat her time of 19:29, ahead of Ryan Smith, Rollins senior, who won here earlier this year, and Cody senior, Talon Stinson, both of which finishing with a time just above 19:39. And Mountain View came in 4th with Caprice Wynn. But Cody came out on top with the team scores of 58, ahead of Evanston at 71. For those Fremont County listeners, Lander Valley came in at 4th with 118, and Riverton came in 13th. And then 2A, we just finished 2A, but Mallory Jones, Moorcroft, she came in with a time of 21:20. She's a junior, so she'll be able to try and beat that time next year, I'm sure. Ahead of Mara Lee Williams out of Saratoga, and then Ruth Johnson, a senior out of Thermopolis. Saratoga ended up just destroying the team scores. They finished with only a 17, while Tongue River, the next best team, finished with a 57. And now we are at the 4A boys.
We are 7:39 into the 4A boys race as the crowd is gathering up near the turn coming off the south end of this race course. And we'll get the first runners as they appear on the south end.
We have one lost phone already coming back, and it's one of Wyoming Indians' best basketball players. And I think there's going to be I think we'll be able to call some Wyoming Indian basketball together this year, Cody. From the sound of it, I can't wait because I've only heard great things.
We've got runners now heading toward the middle part of the course. And it's a tight pack in that lead. Looks like 3 or 4 runners together in front of everybody else.
No drones to be flown over the
Do not fly drones over here. That's actually illegal. I took a drones class in my time at K-State, and unless you have written consent by people that you're flying over, that is actually illegal.
You also have to file a flight plan. Looks like the Star Valley runner is leading this boys race.
It'd be Wetzel, I believe.
As we get a number of runners coming into the middle part of the course, they'll head down to the north end toward Ethete, where they will make a big loop around the field.
We got the horses doing their little roundabout workout here.
We have quite the spectacle going on here on a Saturday afternoon. We're proud to be part of it here at Wyoming Indian High School. Second consecutive state cross-country championships, and, you know, they do a great job out here.
You can really feel the tradition kind of embedded into the race, not only with the horse and the headdresses, but just everything out here in Ethete screams tradition, and it's something that they really hinge themselves on here.
Activities Association rule to not have any of the drones flown for safety reasons as well.
Yep, we are going to continue to talk about drones because someone's flying a drone around here.
It is an association rule.
I haven't seen a drone, but
I saw one over the top over there a couple
Oh,
minutes
okay.
ago. Yeah,
All right.
Can't do that. There's going to be a time when drones are a little bit less problematic, but right now they can cause a lot of damage. And we are at the 10-minute, 20-second mark, and most of the boys are crossing that midway path right now.
Again, that's at the 2-mile mark.
2-mile mark is officially over. We saw Star Valley in the lead. I believe I heard Cheyenne Central in third. And we're going to have plenty and plenty of runners coming up here at the finish line here shortly. I believe Owen Burnett finished this race in just under 17 minutes back in September. So if that gives you a brief idea of what could possibly be happening here in the next seven minutes here. And I see a poor runner whose leg is all wrapped up down there. And it's just one of those things. Cross country is not it's not as simplified as track and field where you're just running straight or you're jumping over hurdles. You gotta go with the flow of the land, and like all of our runners have said, it's a steep uphill for a little bit at the beginning, and then you got to come down and it flattens out. That's where a lot of runners like to put that extra energy to try and pass people, is when it gets flat. And hopefully we'll get the winner of this race coming up here shortly too, as you've already stated, Cody, that athletic director Keith Bauder is really helping us out today, getting us some winners. And he is just ecstatic to have all these people here visiting his high school, looking at what he has to offer out here in Ethete. And Wyoming Indian football will also be playing today out in Shoshone at 4 p.m. They'll be playing the Shoshone JV team, as Shoshone already ranked #1 in the playoffs. They will be looking at a home field game next week, and they deserve it after that win over Wind River and basically winning the whole season other than that first game.
You got to be Lusk coming in to play Shoshone 2 o'clock Friday over in Shoshone, and other local games. Du Bois will host a 1A 6-man playoff game Saturday at 1 o'clock against Matitsi.
They beat up on Matitsi a couple weeks ago.
They did. I haven't heard what time the Lander Star Valley game is. Have you?
No, but I believe they were looking at Friday. Around 4, I think, is what I heard when I was leaving the Douglas game last night. But that was all still speculative. And, of course, Coach John Scott didn't really want to talk about playoffs. He was just losing 45-0. I don't think he wanted to talk at all.
Yeah, he doesn't like to talk much when he loses, period.
Yeah.
John Scott, one of the all-time great coaches in Wyoming, and I wouldn't be surprised if he isn't out here today, because he loves being at athletic events. But
yes, he does.
This venue for the state cross-country championships took a lot of effort to put together, starting last summer, and a group of people got together. They made it work. You had folks from Tribal Transportation, from the irrigation district, which helped put a pipe in across the canal. There used to be a little narrow pipe. Now that's 30 feet wide right down here where the crowd is at the end of the field. And then a lot of work on the course. And Keith Bauder has mowed this course many dozens of times.
Personally,
they do have
too.
a riding lawnmower. Oh, yeah, he's done it.
He doesn't delegate that to someone. He does that himself.
I have ridden this course with Keith last year when we were putting things together, and it's been fun to be part of this effort. These runners now heading up the back stretch. They've reached as close as you can get to Ethete on this course, and they are coming up the and it's fast. It's a fast run. They're over here behind us. Straight to the north, and they've made the final turn to head toward the home stretch. You'll see runners pass through right here. I believe the #1 guy is already making his way toward the final stretch. We're at 14:40, and this could set a course record today.
Very, very well could be. One game we didn't mention, especially from Fremont County, Wind River is going to Southeast, as they fell to the 3 seed after losing to Rocky Mountain. And that was a big game for them without 2 of their main players. Hopefully they can make it back for that game against Southeast. But right now, focusing on cross country, as the 15-minute mark has just been crossed. And I think that there's going to be some racers coming through the chute here in just a few.
Yeah, we've got the leader.
Oh, he definitely could break a course record here if he keeps on that pace.
I believe it's the runner from Star Valley that is running away from the crowd here, and he has turned into the chute. And boy, the guy is running. He is sprinting down the chute. We're at 15:38 and counting, and he's about 5 seconds from the finish line.
And he's sprinting down there. You don't see very many people sprinting through the final chute. That looked like 15:48 something. And yeah, I think that would be a course record here.
Congratulations
We'll have to
to
figure it
the
out.
state champion from Star Valley. He's already being pointed up here.
We're going to give him a break, though.
What a run.
Yeah, what a great run. And he is out of breath. We're going to let him catch his breath.
Second
Really
place
should.
finishers heading this way.
That looks like
Natrona
Natrona
County.
Yeah. I like Natrona's jerseys.
Followed by your
It's like a
third
fun
place
time.
finisher from Natrona County as well.
Actually, the second place was from Central, and the third place was from Central. I believe it's their camo with the C across the chest
Yes, it
uniforms.
Yes, it
And
is.
we're getting a bunch of runners
We're gonna
heading
give
in
him
here.
We're going to give him a minute to catch his breath. But congratulations. Take a seat, man. You got it. Mr. Wetzel here will be joining us in just a second.
We've got two more, another Star Valley runner. It's about 15:40, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Sophomore record for his school. Well, we'll talk to him in a minute here.
We've got a bunch of runners now making their way toward the finish line.
I'm seeing some Laramie runners, I believe. That's the maroon jerseys all joining up together. And yeah, they're those color guard members we were talking about, the military warriors. One of them still active duty. They're helping out as these boys cross the finish line and start to collapse. As I would, like I've been saying, I have 15 minutes of running. You'd have to drive me to the hospital immediately.
Most of Star Valley's team has crossed the finish line, and you got to, as well as Central. So it'll be interesting to see how these boys end up in the team event. But boy, they're coming in fast and furious here at the end.
Yes, they are. We got some.
There's Frank
sportsmanship coming up
Gambino
here.
just getting on the stream. The legend, Frank Gambino.
The man, the myth. And he's going to talk to Hobby here right after we do. Cody, I'm going to let you interview Hobby here. Hobby Wetzel.
Oh, yeah. And again, spectators, fans, we do have...
Congratulations, young man. You're state champion. Did I hear you're a sophomore?
Yeah.
All right.
Years.
Tell us about your race today. How did it feel? Is it fun? What'd you think of this start with following the horse out?
That was a cool start, definitely. I always like it. I came to the Chief Nation one, and I always like this start. Yeah. The race felt good. At the mile, I sped up down the hill. Then I felt good over here in the 2 miles, so I just kept speeding up. And then it just kept speeding up into the finish.
When did you take the lead? Were you pretty much ahead the whole way, or?
No. I was following Austin Akers for a little bit, and then at the 1K, I passed him and just kept going.
Things felt good today.
Yeah.
How do you like this course? Is it a fun course to run?
Yeah, it's definitely a fun course to run. There's as many turns as normal races I do.
I know the 4A girls champion said when she get out here on the north half of the course, where it's just flat and you're by yourself and you're out there, you feel like you're running forever.
Sucks. Yeah. It's only like a mile and it feels like 2 miles.
So that is, you did set the state sophomore record for time, so congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks.
How long you been running?
I've been running since 6th grade.
What made you decide to start running?
My brother was a fast runner. I just followed in his footsteps.
So where do you guys train over there in Afton? Do you get up in the hills and train a little bit?
I train up in Grover Park. There's like 1,000 feet of climb I do every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
All right. You like to run? You run track and field too?
Yeah.
What are your events in track and field?
I do the mile, the 800, and the 2 mile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking for good things, and it's a good way to start off your sophomore season.
Yeah, I was surprised about that time. I was not expecting that.
Well, congratulations. Hey, how does it feel to be a state champion?
Feels good.
Did you expect it coming in today? Did you have some confidence you might be able to get it? Or
I expected more competition. I thought they were going to be with me the whole race. I thought it was going to be a hard finish to win, but it was easier than I thought.
Boy, it really looked like when you were down there on the north end by those trees that you really started pulling ahead.
That's the time when you have to do it because that's the hardest part of the race. So I knew I was getting close. I was just telling myself less than a mile left to go. Just kept going.
All right, well, congratulations, state champion. Hey, celebrate with your friends and teammates.
Yeah, I
and
definitely will.
I know there were some other runners coming up to see you, so congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
All right.
All right, and we're back here at the 2022 Cross Country State Championship. We just had a great conversation with the winner of the 4A boys, Hobby Wetzel out of Star Valley, and we're doing our math. We want to make sure we're right here. The course record, according to Mile Split, on this course is 16 minutes, 10 seconds, 45 milliseconds, and if that is correct, then Hobby Wetzel just destroyed this course record with a time of just under 15, I believe 49. 15.
Yeah, he cut nearly 30 seconds off the course record.
You could see him just sprinting down that chute. You knew that there was nothing stopping him. So not only did he break a record for his team as a sophomore, but I believe he broke the course record here altogether. So that is just one more thing that we have on the docket today that makes today so special.
Star Valley state champion, and we'll see where Star Valley ends up in the team points, as they had a number of runners come in that top 10 to 15 area. So Cheyenne Central, another favorite for a state championship. So interesting run that Hobby put on, but he took the lead at the 1 mile mark, and he was probably 20 yards ahead when he came past us at the halfway mark. And then he got out, and he made the comment too, Shawn, that this lower part of the course, where it's flat, it's quiet, is by far the most difficult part of the course, because then your mind has got to take over and help you keep pace. And if you decide to make a run for it, which he did,
yeah,
and he finished well ahead of the second place runner. Just an outstanding run by the Star Valley runner, who is a state champion today.
Yeah, you saw that extra effort there at the end, especially when he came around halfway through the chute. You just saw him start sprinting, which most of the time after almost 20 minutes of running, or at least in his case, almost 16 minutes of running, you don't see them have a lot left in the tank to be able to push through like that. But he sure did, and that's just a testament to conditioning and his breathing and pace. And that's one thing that we're seeing out here with a lot of these state runners, especially these state championship runners. They just have excellent breath control and pacing. And we have a 7-minute warning for the 3A boys about to begin.
Well, you know, and they pointed him up here, the state champion, and he just walked right up the hill. Yeah. He is talking about his training regimen, where he goes and runs an elevation gain up a hill of 1,000 feet a day over in the Afton area. And, boy, he was ready for today's race.
Yes, he
Again,
was.
the Star Valley boy sophomore wins the 4A boys state championship. And we don't have an official time yet, but the unofficial time gives him a course record here at Wyoming Indian High School.
Yeah, I would imagine that record sticks for a long time. Not saying that any of these 3A and 2A boys won't be able to do so, but that's going to be a tough time to beat for literally anybody, no matter how much conditioning.
Star Valley team right down here in front of us, and I believe they're looking at video and races and what could potentially be a team state championship for the Braves from Star Valley.
Yeah, Star Valley has a lot to look forward to right now. Not only do they have that runner Hobby Wetzel for another 2 years, as he's only a sophomore. But they have football going well right now. They're going to be playing against Lander next week, and they just have a lot of good sports, a lot of good athletic department there that they have a lot to be proud of. And you're right, they're all celebrating. I think they're finding out right now that he might have also broken that course record. So it's going to be one of those days for Star Valley on the way home. They get to celebrate.
Some of the top finishers in this race included, of course, the state champion, Hobby Wetzel of Star Valley. Bridger Brokaw finished near the top. He's from Cheyenne Central. Austin Akers from Sheridan. Dominic Eberly from Laramie. Tristan Enders of Natrona County. Landrum Wiley from Sheridan. Jackson Dutcher from Natrona County. And Jace Burton from Star Valley. Cheyenne Central, Star Valley slugged it out during that race for the state championship. And it'll be interesting to see who ends up winning that when we get some official results in over the competitive timing app. You can go, what's the website again? It's competitivetiming.com.
Competitivetiming.com. They also told me to check on run sign up. Either way, they're going to have to wait for every single runner to cross the finish line, which I'm sure they have already, but the clock's still going. And I think they're just waiting maybe on one more, if anything. And then all those team results come out pretty quickly. I think within about 5 minutes of the finish of the race, we'll get some results. So
we are getting ready for the 3A boys run, the 5-minute warning just given. I'm going
to guess right now that Caden Chatfield's going to be one of the favorites because he has been dominating for Riverton. He's a little bit on the smaller side, but he is definitely one of the fastest runners in the state. And I've had the pleasure of talking to him a few times after victories, almost every single time. He's got a great head on his shoulders. He's very smart, and he's got great pace. He's
and a huge heart. That kid, he did well here last year in the 3A race. As you said, Owen Burnett and Caden Chatfield of Riverton. Owen Burnett from Mountain View, Caden Chatfield of Riverton, the 3A boys' favorites. Other contenders include Jack Bishop of Worland, Aiden Loya of Torrington, and Mountain View expected to be the team favorite along with Worland and Cody. So 3A boys getting ready to go here as we've got Mr. Brown out on the course.
And, Landers coach Kevin Green, he came up and told us Diego Labados is a great distance runner for Lander. And while Gage Gose is an excellent track runner, especially with the amount of hurdling records that he's broken, it's a little different with distance running. That's where Diego Labados really comes in for Lander. We got a different horse out here. Different horse for the pace horse here, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got just over 12 teams, I believe, in 3A, all waiting out there for this horse to start running. And these guys are ready. They've been practicing and conditioning all season just for this exact moment. This is where they can take a step forward in their high school career and grasp a state championship.
This is the 3A boys race. It is championship number 5 of 6. And we're about ready to get underway as Brown leads them out.
All right, and they're off, ladies and gentlemen.
And the pace horse doesn't have much of a lead on him, but getting there, and you can see a lot of blue jerseys holding back, falling into the back a little early. I think that's Evanston. And there's a lot of strategy that goes into this. You may not want to go full speed right away, especially when you're going uphill. You want to conserve a lot of that energy when you're going back down to the flat. But it is interesting to see some of the strategy right away for some of these kids, especially the winners.
Large group of runners near the front of the pack as they're heading along the row of trees where they will make a sharp right turn and head up the hill past the easternmost point of this course, which is the teepee. And this is where the course, and you can see the leaders in this race heading up the hill. You can either take off here, or you can just kind of hold your own and wait until you hit the second half of the course. That's what the 4A boys state champion just did. And now these runners in 3A will run past the teepee and head toward the south end of the course. We've got another race coming up after this one. The 2A boys will match up, and they're already starting to take their places out here, but looks like all of the 3A runners have passed the teepee, and they're heading out on the south half of the course.
Yeah, this will be probably one of the more interesting races. I think this is the most teams as far as one race goes, but I think it'll be filled with some of the biggest competitors. We mentioned Burnett out of Mountain View and Caden and Diego Lobatos, but the 3A is stacked. I mean, every single week the 3A races for cross country are typically topped by different people. I've seen Caden at the top of a few lists, Burnett at the top of a few lists. Lobatos has had a couple good couple good runs, and it's just going to be really interesting to see at least who's winning after maybe the first mile, let alone the second mile, let alone the finish line. And we thank everyone for watching this stream. It's been consistently in the triple digits all day, and it's one of our highest numbers for a race. We get a lot of good numbers for football games, but sometimes when you look at cross-country races, especially when they're out and about, it's hard to think how it's going to look, and we just appreciate everyone joining us on WyoToday. We'll have a lot of recaps coming in the Ranger and Lander Journal on Wednesday, as well as on WyoToday.com later on today.
Wyoming State High School Cross Country Championships, our second year doing this, and it's easier to do it this year because we kind of know what to expect in these races. But Wyoming Indian pulling out the stops and putting on a wonderful event. 6 teepees set up along the race course. Just good stuff, and I'd like to say thanks to Wyoming High School Activities Association for allowing Wyoming Indian High School to showcase not only their school but this area on the reservation. And it's an area that a lot of people come from around the state that have never been on the reservation, and I think that helps to break down myths, and it helps to bring people together when especially this running crowd. And there is a crowd here today, folks.
Oh, yeah.
When they're able to get together and enjoy the benefits of high school athletics, it really does bring people together. And, you know, I hear it all the time. It's like we put too much emphasis on athletics. Well, I can tell you, as a parent of 2 boys who were in sports, they were forced to prioritize their time and schedule their time, and that allowed them both to be honor students, and the facts have shown it that young people who participate in activities, whether it's band, track, swimming, football, volleyball, the many different events, cheerleading, all those, consistently get better grades than kids who do not participate in activities. And you'd think it would be maybe the other way around. Definitely. But when kids are forced to be busy, when we're all forced to be busy, that's when our best efforts come forth in life. So outstanding effort today here by everyone involved in this cross-country meet. And we're all very happy to be here showcasing the talents of the state's best runners.
Yeah, well said. And I'd like to go back to something you said about breaking down myths. You know, when I first moved here, I had never really been on a reservation before. In Kansas, there's plenty of Native American history, but not very much where I'm from around. And the first time coming up to the reservation, it's just you get this idea from watching movies and hearing TV shows and stories. But I think it's really good for a lot of these people to come out here, because some schools might not be as close to a reservation as we are. And Ethete is a great place to come and just learn that it's not all what you might see in movies or TV shows, and it's not all what you might hear in rumors. This is a traditional type of area out here that really likes to be on display.
Yeah, it's good stuff. There's good people everywhere in our world, and you know, I spend a lot of my time out here working, and then it's been my privilege to call Wyoming Indian basketball for the last 8 years, and I look forward to the winter time. It helps pass the time in the winter and you get to see outstanding basketball and solid efforts by our young athletes. And Chiefs Nation really is a club all across our country, and I'm not talking about Kansas City. I'm talking about Wyoming Indian Chiefs.
We just got results from the first mile. It is Mountain View ahead of Riverton, ahead of Cody. So we're going to take a wild guess and probably say that that's Owen Burnett ahead of Caden Chatfield ahead of the person you mentioned from Cody earlier. His name escapes me. But that is the first mile, and I'm not surprised at all that Owen Burnett has come out to a strong lead, because after we talked in September after he won, he said he likes to get out to strong leads and then kind of coast through the flat part of this map. And it's one thing that I'm sure that he's going to be trying to do again today.
Did we get any 4A boys results in yet?
Let us find out here while we... One good thing about out here in Ethete, it might be the best cell phone reception in Wyoming.
Yeah, it's pretty decent cell phone reception out here. There's a tower right up there on the hill, right behind you.
So I have some 4A results. Obviously, we talked to Hobby Wetzel, the sophomore from Star Valley, finishing with a time of 15:48, just destroying whatever record was here. And actually, the second place runner, Tristan Enders, a senior out of Natrona County, he actually beat the time as well with a time of 16:09. So two of the fastest runners to ever run this course finished right behind each other today. Star Valley ended up on top of the point total with 50, while Cheyenne Central came in second with 79, and Laramie came in third with 86. But back to the individuals, you got a senior from Natrona finishing in third with Jackson Dutcher, right ahead of Jackson's senior Colby Jenks, and then Cheyenne Central's two runners, Bridger Brokaw and Will Barrington. They came in 5th and 6th respectfully. And then 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, that's Star Valley, Laramie, and then two Sheridan runners. And at 10th, the running time was 16:44. So that just goes to show you how fast these kids are. If almost everyone in the top 10 is getting close to that record of 16:10 that was previously set here by a Jackson Hole runner earlier this year. So great running, and Hobby Wetzel has a lot to be proud of today. So that's going to be a fun ride home for Star Valley, I'll tell you that much.
Did we get a team scores in 4A?
Yes. Yeah, I told you it was
Star
Star
I did
Valley.
not hear it. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Star Valley with 50 points won, above Cheyenne Central with 79 in second place, and then Laramie at 86.
Owen Burnett with a big lead over Caden Chatfield right now. He has made the turn, and he's heading toward the north half of the course. Chatfield back probably close to 100 yards behind Burnett.
Wow. Yeah, that is quite a large lead. And I wonder if there's any energy left in Chatfield to try and close that gap. Chatfield has plenty of time. I think he's only a sophomore at Riverton. He's got plenty of time to grow, and he's going to be one of Riverton's best runners for the next couple years.
Second place in a state cross-country meet is nothing to sneeze at. There's a huge mass of young men now running through this course and heading down toward the north half. Owen Burnett with a big lead. It'll be interesting to see if that lead grows or if Chatfield's able to cut into it on the north half of the course.
I don't see very many land or green jerseys coming out of that big huddle at the end there, but I'm wondering if anyone outside of Riverton's Caden Chatfield, as far as Fremont County goes, if they're going to make it up into the top 10 right now. I didn't see very many runners wearing maroon or green in that top 10.
Did get a nice comment in from Cody Activities Director Tony Holt, who's watching along with many Cody fans in today's live stream. Appreciate the positive comments, Tony. It's our pleasure to bring this broadcast to everyone across Wyoming who's interested in the sport of cross country. Of course, the Cody girls would repeat today as 3A girls state champions.
I also got a nice comment from a family member. He said, "I never have been so excited to watch cross country." Appreciate it, Dad.
I wouldn't say it's a spectator sport, except maybe in these state culminating events. I've been to a lot of cross country meets in my life, and I always try to stand at the top of a hill and watch these young kids try to run up and down these hills at the fastest speed possible, and you got to admire their perseverance.
I really enjoyed watching the conference championships up in Lander this year, just last week actually, and I really that was where Maya Eddy won first place as well, and I really enjoyed just sitting up on top of that. Well, they change holes now, but the 9th hole up at the top of the hill and just watching the runners crisscrossed through the fields and the greens and the fairways. It was a really nice time out there, and we're getting close to a time here. It's 11:25, the mark right now, and we have one more race left to go after this.
We're going to aim the camera down toward the north part of the course as it winds its way toward Ethete. You actually run a big square on the north end of the course, and the runners have made the turn, and now they're running straight west toward the Wind River Mountains.
Yeah, we got a beautiful sight out here.
We'll try to catch the runners as they work their way up, and we'll see who's leading this race.
And I don't know if it plays a part, especially in running, but when these clouds come in, it drops at least 10 degrees. It can go from very cold and windy to where it is right now, where it's kind of warm, where it's on your back, and you're wondering if you should take off your jacket.
It looks to me like the top two runners now are within 5 feet of each other.
There we go, Caden Chatfield trying to close the gap.
They're running neck and neck, it looks like, over there. For second and third, I just saw the leader. He's way out in front, Owen Burnett. He's making the lead or the turn from Ethete now back toward this course. So Owen Burnett with a huge lead, and Caden Chatfield duking it out with the other contender for second place.
Yeah, and Caden came very close to getting first earlier in September during the Chief Nation Invitational. I know this has been on his mind for quite some time, but I'm sure it's been on Owen Burnett's mind for longer as he's a little bit older, and I think this might be his final race of his high school career. And this is going to be a very interesting finish, maybe not for first, but to see who comes out of that really close gap between second, third, and fourth. And I can see him right now as well.
Got a number of runners now down on the north end of the course.
Like we said, great appreciation for the music, keeping everything lively out here, getting some good jams out here. You see people dancing as they wait for their family members and their teammates to finish the crossing line. We're about coming up on 14 minutes here, and that means that these runners are probably a little less than 3 minutes away. And then we have the final race coming up. I think they just gave them the 20-minute mark. Got Wyoming Indian as part of the 2A. There's Fort Washakie runners out there as well. Fort Washakie struggled to really field a big team this year. Coach Abeda, George Abeda, wanted a little bit more kids to come out, but he's happy with the kids that he's got. There's quite a bit of familiar names you might know. You got Colton Sunroads. I can see him out there right now. We're sitting next to Mr. Sunroads out here by us as well. And there's just a few names that are going to be really familiar that come out of this 2A race coming up.
We do have Owen Burnett's heading down this final stretch before he turns. The Mountain View runner with a huge lead in this 3A boys race. He'll turn and he'll come up toward the chute and the 3A boys finish line.
Yeah, and this is going to be a little, I don't want to say less exciting, that's not the right term, but all the other races so far have had quite a few runners within that first, second, and third spot, all finishing within about 10 to 15 seconds of each other, and Burnett's just got a massive lead right now. And the crowd's starting to form around the chute, even more than it was before.
It looks like we do have a runner about to enter the chute. He's 50 yards away from entering the chute. It is Owen Burnett of Mountain View who will make the right-hand turn. And as he comes down inside the chute now.
And the 15:48 mark has just been passed, so he's not going to beat Hobby's record, but he very well might beat his own record from earlier this year.
Burnett now sprinting toward the finish, and we should get it as he rounds the bend here toward the finish line and comes in as the state champion. Congratulations to Owen Burnett of Mountain View.
And yeah, that was just, excellent breathing and pace. He was ahead the whole time. There was very few.
Second place finisher heading toward the finish line. Is it Caden Chatfield? I'm not sure if it is. This runner is sprinting. It does not look like a Riverton uniform.
If your runner-up, second place winner.
Is that a Lander? Is that Lander? Cody's coming in third. Runner from Cody.
Cody for third.
And a sprint to the finish for fourth and fifth.
Ooh, close race there. Good running there,
Looks like Cody coming in sixth.
Now we're going to be at our 15-minute mark for the 2A boys.
And Caden Chatfield comes across. He'll finish in the top 10, but he was forced to struggle to the finish as he goes down on the ground, Shawn, and now they're picking him up.
I feel
another
for the
Cody
young man.
runner coming across.
And it looks like Owen Burnett definitely beat his time from earlier this season, his personal best of his career at 16:11.5, and that senior is going to come away with his best time of his life at state championships. That's got to be a fun time. Oh, there he is. Hey, Mr. Burnett, long time no see. Remember me from earlier this year? Hey, I'm going to let Cody
More runners coming in.
earlier, but go ahead. We were just talking. You just beat your own record from earlier this year.
Got another Riverton runner coming across, and boy, they're coming in by the handfuls. We'll stay with this for another minute, all right? As we get
We'll let Burnett take a break here, catch a breather. He seems so conditioned, he doesn't even need a breather. He's just right up here ready to go.
runners coming toward the finish.
Be staging at the starting line.
A lot of people finishing where they should, so here's a Lander finisher.
I believe that's
Another Riverton finisher.
I believe that Lander might be Reed McFadden. Can't get a good look. It's definitely
Couple
not
Lander
Gage.
finishers coming in. Got a Cody finisher.
Lander's got a strong team. They got a big group of kids, and they're all young, so they're going to be growing not only in this sport but other sports like track and field and maybe some sports like basketball for all you know, and they're just going to keep growing, and really watch out for them in the next year or two to take a big leap in events like this.
2A boys coming up next. Runners out getting ready for their competition, and we've still got more runners coming up toward the chute from down to the north here a little bit. More runners finishing. Another runner from Cody comes across. Wind's starting to pick up here quite a bit.
Definitely starting to pick up. I saw
Gets quite a bit of dust blowing here.
it's also blowing the pulled pork smell.
2A boys could end up with a very windy event.
Which would be disappointing if you saw all of your teammates and all of your colleagues and people just running without the wind, and then you in your only race of the day have to go up and against the wind for half of it.
One of the noteworthy events here coming up in 2A is Grant Bartlett from Saratoga is going to be competing for his not one, not three, but fourth straight state championship.
Yeah, he's the heavy favorite right now, I will tell you that much. And you know there's going to be some kids from Wyoming Indian, like I said earlier, that they've been running this race, they've been running this course all season. This is just where they practice at. So you know they have their times and their maps all in their head right now as Coach Hermini Horses is huddling up with his team right now. And we're going to get Owen Burnett here from Mountain View. And since I interviewed him in September, I'm going to let Cody Beers go ahead and interview him here now.
All right. Owen, congratulations.
Thank you.
State champion.
Yeah.
How did you do on this course last year?
Last year I did pretty similarly. Actually, I went out hard and set myself up to run a fast time and to be a state champion, of course. So I was happy with my performance today, and compared to last year, it was almost identical.
How'd you feel about the race as it started out? It looked like when you came back after the South Loop, you had a pretty good lead.
I did. I really my goal here was to go out a little more conservatively and then really use the downhill and to push through there because it complements my running mechanics really well. And through that section I stayed strong and ended up with a pretty good lead. But Caden Chatfield of Riverton, on the last mile of the course, he's a stud runner, has a great engine aerobically, and I could see that he was pretty close behind me. People were yelling, so kudos to him for making it a good race.
Yeah, there was a number of runners that came in behind you, but when you come in by yourself, you obviously running's an event where you motivate yourself, but it's kind of nice to get pushed by other runners once in a while.
It really is. I'm always jealous of the 4A race every year. I want to be with some more elite guys, but as a runner from a different town than my team is from, then I always have to be really good at pushing myself at an individual level.
When did you start running, Owen? And what time in your life did you start running?
I started running really seriously sophomore year of high school. Of course, I ran track during middle school and stuff, but I never took it very seriously. And then during sophomore year, actually it was during quarantine freshman year, I really started training at a high level, and I saw those results immediately during my sophomore year.
What makes running a great sport to be in?
Well, there's a lot of sports that require a lot of natural athletic ability and talent, and of course running is no exception. A lot of it's genetic, I'll admit, but at the same time, it's rarely the most talented that wins. It's the guy who can push himself the hardest and hurt the worst when it matters that can excel. So it's more than most sports, I would argue. It's mental, and it's up to the individual how hungry they are to win.
What kind of training have you been doing over the last couple weeks to get ready for this state run?
Well, the last few weeks specifically, I've been tapering my training volume and intensity to rest my body to kind of reap the benefits of the training that I've put in throughout the season and allow my body to recover and maximize those gains. So last 2 weeks I've only done intervals twice and maybe one hard aerobic tempo session or something like that, and otherwise it's been pretty easy these past few weeks.
So what do you do after cross-country season? Get ready for track and field, or what do you do?
In the past, I haven't ran indoor. Usually I spend my entire winter skiing, and I really enjoy the outdoors, and it's where I spend a lot of my time during the winter and during the off season. But I always train essentially year-round. There's probably about a month and a half in the year where I'm not training, but outside of that, I plan this year to run indoor for Mountain View for the first time in my career to set me up to excel in outdoor.
Planning to take this to college? Hope to run in college?
Yeah, I've committed to the University of Wyoming, and I'm really happy with the coaching that I saw there in the facilities. Dahlberg will be a great coach to have for the next 4 or 5 years of my athletic career.
All right, Owen. Well, congratulations, state champion. Thanks for joining us here on the live stream.
Thank you.
And good luck to you in your future.
Thank you.
All right, that's Owen Burnett, future Wyoming Cowboy and state champion from Mountain View.
Good to hear, too. Wyoming getting a great runner. Not only did he just beat his own personal best from a couple months ago, but he is up there with some of the best runs on this course ever taken place. So,
well, and he's if you listen to that interview, it was impressive. He is mature beyond his years as a senior. Enjoys the outdoors, likes to get out and do things in the winter. And that's good. It's good to take a break, rest your legs, rest your feet, and then get ready to start running again. I'm sure he'll be out probably running next week. You know, that's what runners do, man. They go out and run. So we're about ready to go with the 2A boys state championship run. It's our final state run already. It seems like this meet, Shawn, has went by. Snap your fingers, and we're near the end.
Yeah, sorry, we're talking to our photographer who's got more sunscreen on than the entire group of people in front of us here.
Yeah, Cody, he's a good guy.
He is getting some great pictures for us. Like I said, they'll be in the Ranger and Lander Journal as well as on WyoToday's website. And yeah, this 2A meet, we got some Fort Washakie, we got some local kids from Wyoming Indian. But like you said earlier, there's definitely one favorite. He's looking for his 4th straight championship.
Yeah, Grant Bartlett from Saratoga will be running for that state championship. The 2A boys coming up here. Favorites Grant Bartlett from Saratoga, as we said. Howard McNiven from Rocky Mountain and Burlington. Other contenders, Grady Bartlett of Saratoga and Al Spotted from Tongue River. Grant Winters also mentioned. He's from Rocky Mountain and Burlington. Team favorite today in the 2A boys, Rocky Mountain and Burlington. Of course, they're the same team, same school district. And other team contenders include Saratoga and Tongue River. This race scheduled to get under in about 5 minutes. They've been on schedule all day long here at Ethete, and Wyoming Indian High School again has done an outstanding job on this state cross-country meet. We're glad to be here, and it's just a beautiful day for an event like this in the fall, and we've been lucky the last 2 years. A little chilly, but the winds have stayed down, and they've been able to stay away from snow and other winter-type weather, which last year, incidentally, Shawn, the day after this cross-country meet, they had a blizzard out here at Wyoming Indian High School, so we hope to get Keith Bauder here. We'll put him on, and we'll talk about the 2-year effort to host state cross-country. Get Bauder over here. Tell the old man to limp over here. Team's getting ready for the 2A boys run. And we'll get Bauder over here and talk for a little bit. Put those headphones on, Bauder. Sit down for a minute.
I might not get up.
You know, about a year ago, Keith, I came out here, we got on a four-wheeler and we rode the course, and at that point, I know you were about ready to pull out what hair you had left because you were trying to put this thing together, and there was a lot of unknowns, but about a year and 3 months later, man, it's been a big success. You got to feel proud of it.
Yeah, I am. We put a lot of time in there last year on getting this course ready to go, and we were still nervous about it, but we had other teams come out and run it, and they said, no, it's a true cross-country course. And I just can't believe that, you know, all our workers, all the support, how this has brought the town of Ethete kind of together, because we had 100 and some people working this event.
Wow.
And so it's just great the way they pulled together and made this happen. And
well, it took all kinds of effort. I know you. How many times do you think you've mowed this course?
Oh gosh.
I know you got pretty proficient riding lawnmower, right?
I did. Yes. In fact, I kind of was a little bit too rough on them a few times. So.
Well, you had help from the irrigation folks out here on the reservation.
Yep.
You had help from tribal transportation. You had, like you say, hundreds of volunteers over the last couple years. I mean, just to set up teepees, you know, porta potties, just the whole thing in the chute. And then, you know, the guy riding the horse kind of adds a special touch to it.
It does. He's a star. He's a rock star for us, and everybody talks about him. But
well,
yeah, it's, you know, all the tribal councils and casinos and everybody that pitched in. Last night's banquet was fantastic, and I don't want to leave anybody out but yeah. It took a big effort.
Here's the 2A boys start. We're talking to Keith Bauder, the activities director out here at Wyoming Indian High School, meet director. And, you know, Keith, I think that we could all say that you've been involved in sports and been around Wyoming high schools here in central Wyoming for many years. And this event's got to be, man, if it isn't the height of your work out here and your effort, it's just outstanding to get a state event right here on the reservation.
Yeah, it was. It was. When we put in for it, we're saying, oh boy, what are we getting into? But Chico and Julie, her mini horses, had my back, and they said, we'll put this off. And it was great planning by a bunch of people, and it's just an awesome feeling, you know. I just want to thank the person that shut the wind off today.
Exactly right. Well, Keith Bauder, hey, congratulations, outstanding. You know, I really think that the Activities Association should say, you know, Bauder, you're one of the good guys, because you really are. So,
well, thank you.
Thanks, Keith, and hey, outstanding effort. I know you got to sit down for a minute. Do you need help up?
I might.
Hey, that's
All
Keith
right.
Bauder, our meet director. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, Keith Bauder here as the 2A boys have winded their – good job, Keith. They've winded their way up past the easternmost part of this course, past the teepee, and now they're heading up in the direct south end of the course, Shawn. And, boy, I'll tell you what, that guy right there, outstanding individual, and he's done a great job bringing people together. And I know that's something he's most proud of, is the fact that these communities have come together to put on one of the coolest events in Wyoming.
Definitely one of the most different events. It's fun. It's a fun time. It's not just a race. It's a whole bunch of stuff. You can walk around and gain some knowledge. There's teepees out here, and you can walk around just out towards the track and see the beautiful wilderness that's out here. I don't know if I'd call it wilderness per se, but the views that you can get from out here, and couldn't have asked for a better day. A little bit of clouds, a little bit of sun, no rain, knock on wood, no wind really until the last couple minutes really.
Yeah, and the music's not too bad either.
Yeah, definitely.
We had some good food that was provided to us by Mr. Bauder and the people who work in this meet, and you know, we appreciate their efforts too, and like I say, just the many volunteers. And you know, I just want to give a little plug that this broadcast brought to you by Buckle Up for Life Wyoming and other sponsors too of the Wind River Radio Network and WyoToday Media. It's been a lot of fun, and you know, the motto of this event is "Those that fly," and I think that we would all. Hey, that's the first time I've seen that. You can see the cross-country runners running across the skyline here south of us.
Yeah, I guess I never.
Guess I
even
should have
realized
been paying attention to that, but.
Yeah, you can definitely see them all the way up there.
But yeah, a lot of activity here today, and a lot of friends coming together. You're seeing a lot of people hugging each other, meeting up with friends from across Wyoming, and just having a good time. And we've had military veterans out here helping with the event, tribal elders, the tribal councils, as Keith talked about, and you know, we're just proud to be asked at WyoToday Media to bring you this live stream of this state culminating event.
I'm just really excited to be here. You know, after driving home from Douglas late in the night when it was windy, I got home and I was not feeling waking up at 9 in the morning to get out here. But you know, ever since I've been here, I've been nothing but excited and happy. It's been a great day. Get to spend it with Cody Beers, and he gets to go to Laramie after this, and I get to go to Shoshone after this. 2 really good games, one big college football game, and the other senior night for the Lady Blue out there, the Wranglers. It'll be real fun in volleyball, and have a full packed schedule today.
Well, spend some time with your bride, Shawn.
Oh,
she deserves it.
She loves Shoshone, so she gets to go to Shoshone with us. We're looking if we have kids to go to Shoshone, because she just thinks the high school looks like a community college compared to her high school.
Boy, it is amazing, isn't it?
It is very nice. If you are listening to this stream and never been up to Shoshone, it looks like a small community college out there.
These are the Wyoming State High School Cross Country Championships. Saturday, a beautiful day here in October, and we're glad to be here at WyoToday Media, and we appreciate everyone's support. We've had a bunch of new listeners today on WyoToday Media. We understand at the 1 mile mark that Saratoga is leading the field in this race, and that would be Grant Bartlett, undoubtedly going for his 4th straight state championship as a runner. That's something that not very many people can say they've done, is win that race 4 years in a row.
Definitely. I see Gage down here. He's dropped down to his underwear. He's just so hot right now, and I imagine that his body's just tired. But I never root for anyone in any scenario, but if Bartlett from Saratoga can win this, I would love to talk to him, because like you said, you don't get to talk to very many people that champion their sport every single year, and especially in an individual sport like this where there's so many competitors. If it's a team sport and you win state 4 years in a row, it's typically because you have a good coaching staff, good team. Same with basketball, same with soccer. This is extremely different. You are all alone out there with your thoughts and your breathing, and this is completely up to you. If you want to win 4 state championships, you got to put in the effort.
Did you get any 3A boys results in yet?
Let us check right here while we're here. I've been dancing too much. That's what it's been.
Yeah, it's been good music today out here at this event.
So we have senior Owen Burnett, like we talked to the Mountain View School, came in with a time of 16:04, so he too would have broken this track record if Hobby hadn't done it the race before. And then Green River senior Nathan Stevenson, he wasn't even close, but he was the second place. He had 16:37, so 33 seconds ahead of the next best race. And Charlie Hulbert out of Cody, he's a junior. He finished with a time of 16:49. Aiden Loya out of Torrington and Jack Bishop out of Worland, both seniors, finished with a tie at 16:57. And then Ben Stewart out of Cody and Derek Parks out of Evanston, they both had 17:03 or 17:06, I'm sorry. And Caden Chatfield rounded out the top 9. He's a junior. He finished with a time of 17:11. And then we talked about him a little earlier, Diego Labados out of Lander. He finished 11th with a time of 17:22, just behind Hiram Baxter in 10th place, a senior out of Evanston. And as far as team scores go, Mountain View winning 71 points. Next best was Evanston at 89 and Cody at 94. For those in Fremont County, Riverton finished with 156 at 6th place, and Lander Valley finished 7th with 173. Quite a few good runners that didn't even crack the top 10. I mean, I've been writing about cross country pretty much all season, and I've written down quite a few of these names that finished below the top 10. That just goes to show the talent that's in 3A that's around the state.
Here comes the first 2 runners off the hill. Looks like they're both wearing Saratoga uniforms.
And Saratoga's just got a great program out there from the looks of it. They've already produced enough winners, both in the team and individual this year. And yeah, I think it's a yellow jersey out there.
Top 2, I believe, are wearing the same uniform, so those are Saratoga uniforms. Could be the 2 Bartlett brothers.
That'd be a fun home to have Thanksgiving with. I bet it's very competitive, seeing who's going to be the first to get anything. And I can't believe we have this nice of weather, and Halloween is less than 10 days away.
Yes, it is.
What are you going as?
I thought I'd maybe, since it's spookiness and scaring people, I thought maybe I'd dress up as a Kansas City Chief.
They are pretty scary. They strike fear into anybody in the playoffs. So we have a costume contest on Wednesday. I'm not promoting it for any reason other than I'm going to be there. But
at work?
No, at the trivia night, and I'm going to be dressed as the Ranger newspaper, that big old outfit they have in the back that has been collecting dust. So if you see me walking around Riverton in a big newspaper outfit, feel free to holler at me. I'm Shawn.
This is 2A boys, nearing the halfway point of this state championship run. And it looks like we've got 2 Saratoga runners leading this about halfway through. Crowd's starting to thin out a bit as this is the final race of these state championships. Down to the 2A boys.
But don't forget, the award ceremony will be taking place on this ginormous trailer right in front of us up to about our 11 o'clock. And I feel like maybe we'll stay on the air and show some awards being handed out. I'll be doing that, and you love to see the faces, some of these kids, especially local kids. Here we go, 2 miles. First place is Saratoga. Second place is Saratoga. There's the Bartletts. And Burlington in third. And I guess it's not very surprising to hear Saratoga in first, but it will be surprising to see who's going to be coming out of first. Which of those two is going to be the first place finisher if they stay in that position as we reach 11 minutes and 30 seconds in this race. And you're right, even though this crowd's thinning out, I would still say there's probably about 800, 900 people here minimum.
Oh, yeah.
Just right in front of us.
Yeah, it's a good crowd.
And there's Diego Lobatos right there. Hello, hello. And they are selling fry bread pockets for $5. It's a little late for anyone to get out here, but if you're listening out in the on the field, if you have us plugged into your headphones, fry bread pockets, $5. We've got some good food up here. I don't know if I could go for a snow cone with the wind and the cold right now, but some people are definitely trying.
There's one of the greatest dog breeds on the planet, a golden retriever, leading his owner down here.
Look at the puppy golden retriever right in front of you. Look, there's 3 right all in
the
same
yeah.
spot.
Yeah, and more goldens.
And there's a puppy.
All kinds of golden retrievers.
My wife is jealous. Babe, if you are listening right now, you are missing out on all the puppy action that you love.
Yes, you are.
And she's also a much bigger fan of horses than I am. The horses out there, and we were wondering, Carl, Cody, and I were talking, we wonder why Adrian gets to ride the horses on the pace horse every time. I wonder if he's earned it through some sort of merit, or if it's maybe his horses.
Probably his horses, I'm guessing.
I'd love to figure out, because he was on top of them last year in 8th grade, and now he's a 9th grader, so it's not a seniority thing. It's definitely something that he's very lucky to do, and he'll be able to say he was that guy for forever now. He's the guy on the pace horse.
Just saw Bartlett run by on the north end of the course. He's on that back side by the trees.
I'm a big fan of all the kids just taking towards the field out there where they throw the shot puts and stuff during track and field, and they're just having fun out there in the gravel.
A lot of people are having fun checking out their first time inside of a teepee.
Yeah. It is always interesting if you don't grow up around any Native American heritage. A teepee just kind of blows your mind when you walk into it and it's able to withhold all that heat and that humidity, which there isn't very much of up here, but you could break a sweat in a teepee on a day like today. My wife and I were lucky enough to stay on a teepee on the side of a mountain in Utah on our honeymoon. It was gorgeous. It was super cool too, because it was the only time I've ever slept in a teepee.
Well, we could do something about fixing you up in a Wyoming teepee.
Set it up
next
in the
summer.
backyard. Yeah, we'll do it next summer.
Nah, we'll go up in the mountains and do it.
If there is one thing I wish we could do more of with our busy football schedule and everything else, I wish we could go camping a little bit more before the winter comes around. And I'm seeing one runner come back down. I think that might just be a kid in a yellow jersey, but it might also be Saratoga.
They should come right here on the other side of these trees, but it'd be great to be able to follow the winner in a drone, but not able to fly drones at these state culminating events.
And there's going to be quite a big hoorah at the end of this. There's a lot of kids waiting to get their awards, and there's going to be we're going to have to get out of here real quick, because the traffic on the way out of here is going to fill up the reservation. One way or another, everyone's leaving and going their own direction. So there's going to be some, well, they're starting to take down all the flags and stuff out there. Bring them on back. And knowing Mr. Bauder, he's going to want to get out of here a little bit early as well.
No,
He's been here since 6 a.m.
He'll probably be here at 7 tonight. That's the life, the glamorous life of being an activities director.
At least you get a good day full of fun and a bunch of people you don't get to see very often.
All right, we're going to try out these fry bed pockets here. Need 2 of them, 1 for each of us.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. There's definitely some good food out here.
Thanks, ladies.
You're going to need that. It's a long drive to Laramie.
Yeah, I probably don't need that. But
who does Wyoming play today?
Utah State.
Oh, that'll be a good game. And I'm sure you'll be up there with Mr. Ernie Over, who I called the game with last night.
I'll be down in the crowd with my kids. 7:45 kickoff from Laramie tonight. We've got runners coming into the chute. Looks like it's going to be 4th time in a row for Bartlett as he comes across the finish line.
17:24.
The 2 brothers, 1st and 2nd. Amazing.
I mean, I don't
Pretty
know
cool.
I don't know if necessarily we're surprised, but definitely one of the biggest storylines of the day is if he would win that 4th straight. And he did. Burlington coming in 3rd. And I'm excited to get to talk to this young man because it takes a lot of effort in order to win 4 straight state championships. Grant Bartlett finished with the time of 17:01 here last year, so a little bit less than his day today, where he finished with 17:14. His best time of his career, 16:19, he had at the Leroy Sprague invite, and it was a big day for him there, I imagine. We're going to get to talk to him here very shortly, as we are getting pointed to over by one of the military active members here. Grant, right? Yep. Hey, congrats, man. Take a breath, take a breather. We're gonna keep it focused on here for a minute and let you take a breath. You can take a seat if you want. His brother took 2nd. Yes, he did. We were gonna talk to him as well if you got him, but it's all good. Grady! He's puking in a trash can. You want me to go get him? I'll tell him to come up. And we have 1 Bartlett brother up here. We're gonna try and get both, and I was told that he's kind of puking in the trash can, so we got to figure out if he's going to be okay to come up here. This takes a lot of energy out of you to run for this long and to try and build up the conditioning that it takes to even compete in an event like this, let alone win it. As we see a couple different green jerseys coming in here. And we're going to get both Bartlett brothers up here. They look identical. You can have him first. You're good. We're going to let Frank Gambino have him first here and let him take care of him. No, we're going to let Frank take him first and give him a break. And we'll talk to the other Bartlett brother here, 2nd place. Mr. Bartlett, hey. Okay. So that's Grant. What's your first name? Grady. Grady? Yeah, yes. Coming down. Grady, yeah. Cool. Grady, there you go, my man. Put this on? Yeah. So Grady, getting 2nd place here behind your brother. I know it's a lot of competition. You guys probably share a lot at the dinner table, but tell us about how this race went. You guys were neck and neck the whole time.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, catch your breath.
Yeah, that was just our goal to go out in the front and not look back. And you hit that wind, and it was a little tough, but, living in Saratoga, we run in the wind a lot, so we're kind of used to it. But, we hit right here, and I knew this big old square was going to be about the hardest part, and it was a mental thing, and I just had to mentally push through it and not let anyone pass me, and that's what happened.
Yeah, you had a few different kids running down your neck, and like you said, the square's the hardest part. What makes it the hardest part? You'd think the uphill portion of it might be the hardest part, but you're not the first to say that this square after the second mile is the hardest part.
Well, I don't know. It's just like you keep running, you see all this just where you have to keep running all the time. It's just straight, and it's not the most beautiful thing ever, but it's tough. But
well, what can you say about your brother? I know this is we're talking to you, but this is his 4th straight championship, and you got to be proud as a brother. But you were right there next to him.
Yeah, he just worked so hard, and he wanted it. At the start of the race, he was puking because he's been sick this week, and he just went out and didn't look back, and he took it. I mean, you just got to give it to him. He works hard and all that.
So what have you guys been doing to train for this, not just this week, but this season? Do you go up in any altitude, or do you go to specific parts of Saratoga?
Yeah, we have this one road that's kind of indicates what that hill is. The first slight uphill, and we just run up that all the time. We do intervals with going uphill and downhill to practice. So.
Well, hey, congratulations on 2nd place. I'd love for you to give your headset to your brother there.
Thank you.
I'm sure we got a proud mom somewhere around here. And how you doing, man? You just got 1st place for the 4th year in a row. You know how almost impossible that is, right?
Yeah, it was not easy. Only way I could have done it is in 2A, but I still did it in 2A, so I'm just pretty proud of myself for that.
Definitely, as well you should be, and you're going to have your name in the record books for a long time, not just in Saratoga, but Wyoming state history. That's going to be something that you do. So we were just talking to your brother. What do you guys typically do to train for an event like this? You said you were kind of sick all week.
Yeah, I was pretty sick this week. I had a pretty bad cold. I was finally able to start with medicine on Wednesday, and I finally got a little better, but yeah.
Was there any idea in your mind that you might not run today?
No, I was puking before, like a minute before the race, and I don't know why I was just puking, but nothing's going to stop me today.
Well, that's great. Yeah, so tell us about, this isn't your first time winning this race here. What was different about this year compared to last year?
That square felt a lot worse this year. I felt a lot faster on the uphills and downhill because that's what we really trained for, but that square just really killed me.
Your brother said the same thing. I wonder if, and you're not the only one to say that all day. There's been runners that have said that square is a lot more terrifying to look at and to run than it seems. But what can you say just about your team? I mean, your team has been able to get you here all 4 years, and you guys personally, individually, you've been winning, but your team has come together, and it's become one of the best running teams in the entire state.
Yeah, we have a really good coach, and we have a really good program. We're losing 5 seniors, 4 that ran the state this year, 4 seniors, so it won't be as strong. But our coaches is really good, and I have really good teammates. One of my best friends, Calvin Condit and Braden Barkers, and then we had a kid that graduated last year, Kelton Johnson. We were all just really close, and we had a good program.
So do you plan on running in college? Do you have any college plans or after high school?
I'm not sure yet. I don't know if I want to go try and run at some smaller school or just kind of let it all go. I'm not sure yet.
Well, either way, you're going to finish out on top, and that's something that I congratulate you for.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. Go down and celebrate with your team, get your award, and have a good, safe trip back home.
Thanks.
That was Grant, and from Saratoga, he is, of course, the four-time state champion, Grant Bartlett from Saratoga. Very difficult. Nice to meet you, man. And it was one of those things you kind of knew was coming in as he almost steps on the tiniest dog I think I've ever seen. And they're going to get him his award, his 4th straight award. That's one thing that he and his team are extremely proud of. He said he doesn't have plans to run in college, but he's going to finish out on top of it in high school. That's one thing for sure. And we're going to take a little break here. There's quite a bit of people all crowding around where they're going to start giving out awards, and I'm not going to give you the times because we have already shown you all the races, but we will be back with the award ceremony here shortly. This is WyoToday's coverage of 2022 state championship in cross country. Be right back.
Welcome back to the Wyoming State High School Cross Country Championships. All they've got left is the awards. I just had the Bartlett brothers up here from Saratoga, and Grant Bartlett, the 4-time state champion. I was just talking to another guy here, Shawn, and he was saying those Bartlett brothers can play the heck out of basketball too. They're good basketball players, so it'll be fun watching them this winter. They play in Class 1A, but outstanding day. When this last night when we were thinking about coming out here, all I could think is, man, we could either have good weather
or not good
or the way it's going and the weather forecast, it could be a big mess. And it turned out to be perfect, almost perfect conditions for a state cross-country meet. And we crowned 6 individual state champions, 6 individual team champions, and Wyoming Indian, a lot to be proud of, and congratulations to everyone out here at School District 14. Did an outstanding job. Tip of the hat to Keith Bauder and all the volunteers who made it happen, and thanks for inviting us to be part of it here on WyoToday.
Yeah, I'm extremely excited to be here as well. Couldn't have asked for, well, you could have asked for more beautiful weather, but for the longest time it was pretty perfect. A little bit of cloud coverage is what you needed, especially if you're running 20 minutes and you're running 5,000 meters. So we're going to run down some of these winners here individually. In the 4A girls, Sydney Morrell, the senior from Cheyenne Central, well, she helped her team win first place as well as Cheyenne Central won first place over Natrona. And then in the 3A girls, Amaya Eddy out of Lander, a sophomore, well, she shocked Ryan Smith and Talon Stinson, whose seniors were looking for that state championship in their final year. Cody would eventually come away with the team win over Evanston. And then the 2A girls, Mallory Jones out of Moorcroft, she's a junior. She came in first, but Saratoga High School would come in first on the team point totals. And then as far as the 4A boys go, we talked to him earlier, Hobby Wetzel, a sophomore out of Star Valley. He's just going to keep growing into this sport, so be on the lookout for him. He won first. And his team, Star Valley, also took home first place. And then in 3A, we talked to Owen Burnett, Mountain View's senior, who has won this race now, won his last 2 races here at Wyoming Indian here in Ethete, and he helped his team win first place as well with 71 points. And then the 2A boys, we just talked to him, Grant Bartlett out of Saratoga. We have yet to get a team score, but I would bet good money based off of how many yellow jerseys were in the top 10 that Saratoga probably takes this one home. Look out for more information on WyoToday.com, as well as the Ranger and Lander Journal on Wednesday. We will have full stats and scores as well as some great pictures. And that's it. That's the cross-country championships from
Hey,
from
Shawn,
Ethete.
great job, and proud to be part of this. Thanks for joining me here, and good stuff. Fun to be out here with the teepees and all the good people. And, man, I just had a fry bread roll-up.
I got one I'm about to eat right now.
That's the best thing I've eaten in the last 3 days. So, hey, thanks to everyone for making it happen. Thanks, Shawn. Thanks to WyoToday. Thanks for the GM of the Wind River Radio Network, Kevin Shields, and all the sponsors who help us bring these activities your way. And, hey, I'm going to get on the road and go watch some Cowboys football.
And I'm going to get on the road and go watch some Shoshone volleyball. For Cody Beers and Shawn O'Bray, this has been the 2022 Cross Country State Championships. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you later.